You know what I mean? Like I don't want to pay like $1,500 to change this in post. Like, some special effect bullshit I got to deal with now. Green screen motherfuckers.
Alok popped in. He's going to come back in as soon as he deals with some technical issues. But we were just telling him, actually, we feel like you're kind of the heart of the movie, your performance.
That's really? Thank you.
Yeah.
That's big fans over here.
That's one. Oh, go ahead, Dave.
I was just going to say, I love the arc of your character because he kind of goes from this, almost seems like he's going to be the villain of the piece, and in the end, he winds up being the savior of it. I thought it was a really well done. It was a very well done portrayal, and the writing totally worked.
Yeah, it was. That was definitely something that really drew me to the part when I read the script. Was the fact that he becomes the hero. A lot of times stuff that I get cast as, it's just playing just the straight dirty bad guy. So when I had the opportunity to sort of pull the wool over everyone else's eyes and lead you to believe I'm the bad guy, and then come to the rescue, it was really rewarding to be able to do that.
Oh, that especially for somebody who gets cast as a straight up bad guy, it's got to be wonderfully rewarding to have that moment.
or as in the case of your character, pulled over the one eye.
Exactly. I don't need as much wool. You know what I mean? Inflation.
In this economy, can you really afford wool to pull over both eyes? There's a lot of wool.
There's a remarkable level of cost effectiveness there. Yeah.
Don't go down this road. We'll just see nothing but movies with people with one eye from now on. Although I have to say, first of all, I have an eye phobia. I can't get anybody go near my eyes. I can't even put in a contact lens. So I don't envy you the makeup job every day that you probably had to go through to. Was that intensive, or was it quick? Or
no, it was honestly like they only had to do the makeup where they covered the eye one day. It was the scene where they have Sarah in her reconditioning room and they call Lester in and like, you better behave or this will happen to you.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was the only day that they covered the eye up. Thank God, because that was that's just not fun getting that prosthetic put over, and literally like your eye is closed, you have that prosthetic on all day long. And when you get done, it's like your eyes are readjusting to what it's like to see with two eyes again. And so I was like, oh my gosh, like this is, it was just different.
I have depth perception again.
Exactly. I have depth perception again. Nailed it. Right up.
Your character didn't get to go to a lot of 3D movies, I'm guessing.
I know. That was definitely the drawback of the character. You know what I mean?
That's actually where
that
the
and walking into a lot of tables.
and they probably when Lester misbehaved, that's when they would specifically choose 3D movies for the movie night.
Yeah,
in the community there.
Sorry, pal. Good luck to you. Why did you guys do this to me?
Okay, sorry about that, guys.
I
wish it was later there for us, and I could be taking part of that.
It's always 5 o'clock somewhere.
It's 5 o'clock.
I mean, what do you guys all drinking there?
I got Line and Kugel Summer Shandy.
Well, that's a nice summer drink.
Okay, I have to.
Dave always has 3 drinks on tap, so we'll see what those are.
The one that I literally reached down and grabbed my first beer out of the fridge, and I looked at it and went, well, this is weirdly appropriate. It is a Fat Orange Cat, which for this film, I looked at it and went, really? Okay, I guess we're doing that. And then also,
that's right. He's got a few.
Yeah.
There's always
I have a Glacial Till, which is a local to the state of Nebraska cidery, and it's a mixture of honey and lavender. And then somewhere down here, just for chuckles, I have a Bushmills and Sprite, because why not? It's Friday. It's a day off. I'm not getting a whole lot of days off coming up, so I'm going to enjoy the shit out of this one.
I've just got a standard old MGD, one of those kind of.
Yeah, Wisconsin Mother's Milk is what we call it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you know where you come from. I've got my Chimay Paris Trappiste. This is absolutely not a summer beer, but I've been saving this for like 2 months. And I'm like, today's the day. I'm cracking it open.
Well, it's the green Chimay, which is the rare Chimay. You're a lady after my heart. I'm a huge Belgian beer fan, and the Chimay Grand Reserve, as they call it, the blue, is one of my favorites. But I also
and I love the blue. They didn't have any the day that I went in to our local like fancy beer and liquor place, Spirit World. But they did have the green, so I'm like, either way, it's good.
Well, the green is a bit more rare in a lot of ways.
See, that I did not know.
I've only seen the green a couple times, and I've been to Brussels like 4 times.
I'm a little jealous of you right now.
Yeah.
Just a little.
I like the German. I mean, I like the Belgian beer, and I like the faux Belgian beer, like the Canadians make. If you know the Unibrow Brewery, like Unibrow. They make all kinds of wonderful stuff like Fin du Mont and Trois Pistoles and all this good stuff.
I'm going up to Quebec in October or November, and I am so psyched to actually go up there and have a proper beer again.
You're not having a proper beer.
Oh, well.
Just be aware, if you are going to try to take a tour of the Fin du Mont, the Unibrow thing, the Canadians are decent people. And what I mean by that is that we went into Montreal for our world premiere, and me and the director, David Warmer, are big fans of the Unibrow Brewery. And so we decided we were going to go to the brewery. And we were thinking like, all right, they'll, we're going to go on Tuesday, right? Well, it turns out, since they're open over the weekend and the Canadians are decent people, they actually give their people Monday and Tuesday off. And so the day we had set aside to go, we were like, that's fucking closed. Like, this is bullshit. Like,
how does this even work?
Galactic, amazing beers that like.
Dare you give your employees a 2-day weekend? Like most.
Right? That's ridiculous. But anyway.
Hey, they probably suffer from less turnaround than a lot of service industry jobs down here.
They all have like universal health care. There's a lot of great things going on in Canada. But
that said, at that moment.
Yeah, I'm going back up there, and part of me is really tempted to go, hey, can I get a passport? That'd be cool.
Well, don't you got to get one to be up there, though, Dave. You know.
I've got a U.S. passport, but my mom's a Canadian citizen, so part of me is like, okay, maybe I can trade in on that. Yeah.
Are you gonna go in the winter or in the fall?
In the fall, which for Quebec can be very much like winter anywhere else.
Well, I was going to say, if they're open, the one thing we wanted to try so badly, we became friends with Johan and, forget his last name, it's killing me. Let me think about it for a second. But these are the guys that did Turbo Kid and Summer of '84.
I love that movie. Yeah.
These guys are great. And so we became like really good friends. In fact, we started a quarantine movie group that we usually don't talk about, but we've been doing it for like 2 years, like twice a week.
Wow.
We get together and watch horrible bad movies and talk shit on them in like a Discord or something. And I was determined to find what they call a sugar shack, which essentially is this log cabin. It's full of amazing meats and food, and then at the end you take maple syrup and you roll it into ice and you have like a dessert on a thing. But they pour maple syrup on like everything, like in this thing, like it's on ham, it's on like whatever, and it's like this thing. It only happens during like when it's snowing and stuff. So I thought for sure he could find me one in the middle of the summer,
right?
And he tried very valiantly to find me one, and he was like, "No, I couldn't find it."
Yeah, usually it's.
I was gonna say those guys are working on a zombie movie right now. It's probably gonna like fuck your mind up. Yeah.
Oh, what's that? What's that called? You know,
it's something. I don't know if it's a working title, but it's something with the word zombie in it. Like I don't know. Okay. I feel like it's the working title, but they're like knee deep into editing it right now and stuff.
Oh, good.
So,
I love the fact that it's made. I love that it's made it to post at this point. Yeah.
Is it something that we'll see on Shudder? Do you think, or?
I think that I feel like they got some money from the government. Well, anyway. It's Johan Wissel or Carl Wissel or whatever. I just remember this. But he directs with a trio, like him and his sister and her boyfriend, husband, whatever. They're like a directing team, RSX,
Oh, nice.
RSK, sorry. So they're actually coming out with a Turbo Kid video game. So you should be like, if you
Really?
never seen Turbo Kid,
Wow.
Oh God, it's such a good. Turbo Kid
Such a
is
good
one. If
movie.
we haven't reviewed it, we have to do this because that film is such a. It's such a gem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
I've heard nothing but good
post-apocalyptic
things.
film, and it's really well done.
Seconded.
Speaking of
starring
gems,
Emotion passes.
Michael Ironside was still a little bit mobile and stuff, and like we saw it at Sundance, and we were just like, holy shit, this is a great film. So anyway,
I have a silly question, Alec. How do you pronounce the title of the movie? Do you say one BR or one bedroom or Alok?
Well, see,
I'm sorry,
okay.
Alok. I'm sorry.
You got it. So one BR. See, one BR is a real estate abbreviation we use here in the States, and we thought stupidly that everyone knew what that meant in the English-speaking world. only to be completely disappointed when our English, we have Dark Sky's our distributor, and then they kind of give it to sub-distributors. And so we found out actually traveling with the film and doing like the film festivals and everything that no one had any fucking idea what that meant, and we were going to have to change the title. And we were trying to keep the branding, like, why don't we call it one BR : the flat in England or something? And they were like, nah, we want to do apartment one BR. We're like, all right, fine. We're gonna fight you on it. So we did it there. We did it there in Australia. Had no idea either what it meant. So we decided to like try to keep the branding at least the same, where we would like at least have just two names for it. But then it just like took off in all these different directions we had no control of. Like in Japan, it's called like Madhouse.
Madhouse.
I don't know why I can do the like racist accent, but that's what they say. But they in Germany it's called Welcome to the Nightmare.
Oh my God! No, I have to ask my friend Patrick about that then.
It's an Alice Cooper title.
Yeah, I mean it has like different titles. Like in France, it's one BR the apartment. In other countries, apartment one BR. In South Korea, it's apartment 209, which I didn't even really put together. That's actually her door number.
Oh,
like I was like, I didn't even figure that out. Like I was like, oh, is that her door number? Oh, okay, all right, interesting.
That works.
Yeah.
So how did this script come to you? Because I read a little bit about your journey from being a marketer to making movies. How did you come across this director and writer? He seems like he's a pretty visionary and everything. So,
well, my wife went to school with Allard Cantor, who's one of the producers in the film, who's also David Marmer's manager. And we had one of those like douchebag lunches where you sit and you talk about like, what you've been working on, what projects you've been working on. And like, he's like, what are you trying to do? Well, I try to do horror, send us some scripts, and say, send me 2 scripts. And I'll be honest, I never read them for 6 months because I was already like knee deep in another thing we thought was gonna be the first movie. And then the last second we lost our lead. And then I was like, holy shit, I need to find something else. So I started reading scripts. Like, this is like, 6 months and he gave it to me. He gave me 2 scripts. One was the film Tragedy Girls, which I don't know if you ever saw that.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
It's a terrific film. Tyler McIntyre is the real mensch. And so I tested movies for 18 years. And so I was like, it's always hard to pull off a horror comedy because invariably one side is not satisfied. Like the horror people think it's too funny. The funny people think it's too horrible. So I said, I'm going to tell you this. I love the script, but it's a pass for me. And he's like, well, we just finished filming that last week. And I was like, well, what the fuck do I know? Like, I'll make that movie anyway. But the other one was David Marmer's film, 1BR. And so we basically, we loved the script, and it was even better than probably what you saw on the screen because we had to cut stuff out to make it in a budget. And so we met with Marmer, and we thought he was great, and we're like, let's figure this out. And so we figured out different creative ways to fund the thing. I mean, I may or may not have allegedly mortgaged already paid off house to put in my share, let's say. And you do these things and you believe in a project and you bet on yourself, and so that's what we did. And we figured out in May we wanted to make it. We started pre-production in May of 2017, and we by September we were in pre-production, and by December we were shooting. And we shot for 15 days. It was a rough 15 days, and we didn't get everything we needed. So we put together a rough cut of it. And also, by the way, David had a kid like in January. Like, so that was like tough. So like he wasn't sleeping, he wasn't editing shit. And we were supposed to get like the director's cut in March, didn't get it till May. We realized we needed a different ending, tried to get the band back together, couldn't get them back till like August of 2018. And then went from there. But Clayton Hoff over there stood by us to the entire thing and stuff.
Way to go,
and
Clayton.
Yes.
He was a friend. We tried to hire as many friends as we could, to be fair. And a funny story with Clayton, and I you want to tell it, Clayton? I feel like I've been talking too much here. How we got the part?
Oh, what's that? Which part is that?
You want to tell them how you got the role?
Oh yeah, gosh, it just by chance, never on Facebook. I'm just like, whatever. I'm more of a voyeur. I'm just like, oh, what's everybody else doing? And, never post shit. And I recently got married, and I made a big post about it. And Alok saw the post and was like, oh yeah, Clayton, sure, we should reach out. He'd be perfect for this because
we were fighting over his role, actually, because David originally wanted to cast this friend of his who kind of looked just too fucking old. And I was like, okay, first off, it's a miserable. Okay, spoiler alert. I guess we're gonna tell spoilers here, right? Everyone knows that we're talking spoilers, right?
We're hardcore spoilers, so I don't know.
Okay. So
always put up a note.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So what happens is that eventually we're gonna pair Lester with poor Sarah. And I was like, look, it's bad enough that this is sort of an arranged marriage of sorts, but it's even worse if the guy is fucking old. Like, I mean, she's gonna want to kill herself. Like, I mean, there's like a certain level of like whatever. And Clayton looked much younger, and obviously could play the creepy as well as lovable and everything else. And so we were fighting over his position, and then his thing popped up on Facebook, and I was like, holy shit, that's fucking Lester. We gotta fucking bring him in to read it. And it was funny because he was like, I'm doing this class. I don't think I can get out of it. I'm like, you need to fucking fuck your class.
Thank God you did.
Put in a tough.
I'm sorry, but this is the truth here, and you need to get here now.
Well, it was a thing where I mean, I thought you tell the rest of the story. Like, it was like
it was like, I think it was Friday that Alok had reached out to me, and I was in a class all day. I just gotten married on Wednesday. I was going to New Orleans on Monday, going there to celebrate with my wife and her sister, and I was like, well, okay, I'll get it to you when I can. Like, I get out of class at like 11 o'clock, and so it's like literally like Friday at technically be Saturday, probably at like 3 a.m, or was it Saturday? Whatever it was like 3 a.m.
Saturday going to Sunday, as I recall, because we need to know tomorrow, like Sunday.
Yeah. Because it was Friday, and then Saturday I had class all day, and then it was literally like 3 a.m. Sunday, and I'm sitting here filming with my wife in my little 1-bedroom apartment, and send it over to them on Sunday, and I was like, all right, cool, I got it done. Now I'm leaving. Like, cool guys, good luck. And in New Orleans on Monday night on Frenchman Street. And they give me the call and offer me the part, which was awesome.
Yeah, really cool. We're really glad that you took it.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you can see in your face that. I mean, I can, when I'm watching it, I can feel the pain of. I can feel her pain through your face because you've been through all the same shit that she's going through, and it just to me that's what makes that's not the only thing that makes it work, but that's a big part of it. Bravo.
Yeah.
It was, I keep coming back to it. And I'm not just saying this because you're here and present with us, but I mean, it's an exceptional piece of work that you did. I think that there was a great turnaround with that character, and it really made the film feel a little bit more fresh that way because of that. Yeah. If you just been the straight up bad guy all the way through it, it would have been a little bit too conventional. But especially with that character ending, God, it's a gut punch. So well done.
Oh yeah, that gave me goosebumps. Like the fact that we do talk spoilers, but
that's a bit too much of a spoiler for this. But yeah.
All right, so I've got a question for Alok and Clayton. I don't know if you're familiar with the Shudder series Cursed Films or not, but it seemed from what we've read that you had your share of cursed film sort of situations. Can you tell us a little bit about what happened during filming?
I mean, what didn't happen? We did our best to try to keep it away from like Clayton and the other cast members, to be honest, actually, though, because we were like, we got 15 days to shoot this fucking movie, and we're like, we don't need them thinking about whatever happened at night, or whatever it was. And like, I mean, really, the truth of it is that there's three really bad things I will say that happened. One, we had all these fires, and if you go back and you look up 2017 December, Mulholland fire, if you watch the video of it, it looks like Mordor. Like, it's crazy. Like, it looks like where the Hobbit's going into Mordor, and that was like right next to our office, and they were just trying. It's like they're trying to dump like the planes are coming in to dump water and try to save whatever it is, and we couldn't go to the office for like a week because we were trying to look on like Google Earth to see if the thing had burned down or not, because they didn't let us go. But the only good news was that office was like right next to the veterans graveyard. And like, the veterans are all dead, and they're not going to make them suffer twice. Like their corpses are going to be burning, like the headstones are going to be like, you knew they were going to bring in every fucking plane to dump water all over that shit. So like,
a small blessing.
Go down. Yeah, so that was one thing. One of the larger things was that we actually had somebody originally slated to play Sarah, who was a much bigger actress. And
are we allowed to know her name or no?
No, I can't tell you. I can't tell you. It's much because of liable, but I'll give you. I'm not going to give you a hint, but I'm going to say this about it.
Okay.
She was a TV actress. She made us hire her friend, or we don't know if it was a boyfriend or whatever, some shit. And that dude was on some fucking CW vampire show that I've never fucking watched. And but I thought, like, look, we thought if like he's good enough for the CW, he's good enough for us. And being like greedy money grubbing producers, we were like, let's already put this in the black. And Marmer always wanted Nicole Bryden Bloom. He was like, we had to literally put him in a corner and like, take a gun and like, look, we're gonna be in the black. You got to figure out a way to work with this, work with this lady. And so we sent him up to like, wherever it was in Canada to work with this actress and stuff. And like, and this girl, this young lady was very, very particular about her needs, and, needed a fucking feminine energy drink or where the fuck it was. And here's the thing about that too. I can't tell you what it was. And the reason for that is
we're brought to you.
These people very kindly sent us literally half a truckload of it. Oh. I mean, it was like a pallet with like just to the roof of this fucking thing, right? We were like, look, this girl dropped out. I'm sorry, this girl ends up dropping out, right?
Oh, well, that's
she drops out, like, no reason whatsoever, right? She drops out. Subsequently, her friend, the other male lead, is supposed to play Brian, drops out.
No.
And so and by the way, we're in a Gelson's at this point, right? Gelson's is a fancy grocery store here on the West Coast. And because this fancy fucking feminine energy drink cannot be found too many places. It's found at this fucking place. I had to drive to fucking Marina Del Rey to get it. Because there's like, when you're doing a low budget film, there's no like lackey to do this for you.
Right.
Me and my producing partner Shane Borster were at fucking Gelson's trying to get this stupid drink. And we had found a case of it. And meanwhile, the drink is coming from the company, but it's gonna get there like 3 days in to the shooting. So we were like, wow, we should get some more. And she requested it and da-da-da. So we found a case of it there.
But no.
So then I talked to the manager. I'm like, hey, listen, can you go in the back? Can you see if there's another case of it? Can you just check? And he's like, I don't think so, but I'll go check. And then right then, her fucking manager or agent called us like, she's out. And we're like, fuck me. And then we're like, another guy's out too. And so we're sitting there like, I'm trying not to throw up into Gelson's. I'm like, I may or may not have a mortgage and already paid off house. Is money gonna fucking go away? So I'm like, holy shit, what are we gonna do here? And then the manager comes back and he's like, I found a case. And we're like, We don't need it.
Bless you for trying.
Hey,
Thank you so much, but
you should have went for a sponsorship, man. Like Dos Equis with Phantasm.
Well, they sent us all this free stuff because we were going to let the thing appear in the movie, right? But then we were like, fuck that and fuck that bitch, and we're not doing shit for. And so we were never forward about that company. But I tell you this, I never took one sip of that shit. We were giving it away to the crew. Like, we never took one sip of it. It just reminded me of that young lady. I gotta call her a young lady, but I want to call her something else. And so anyway, so both of them dropped out. And so Shane and I go to the bar to just have a drink, calm our nerves, and like try to figure out what we're gonna do. And then we get another call. It turns out the woman that we had originally cast as Miss Stanhope, her husband has collapsed. He's been rushed to the hospital, and he's dead. And he's dead. He's died.
Oh my God.
So now we're like, holy shit! Like we've lost 3 fucking people, 3 leads.
Literal fires and metaphorical fires just all over the place.
I mean, thank God for Clayton. Clayton said yes, and he stuck with us. But
Thanks, Clayton.
So we're sitting here like, what the fuck are we gonna do? And we basically decide, okay, listen, we're gonna back the movie up a week. We're supposed to start on Thursday. It's Monday. We're supposed to start this coming Thursday. We back it up to the next Monday. Try to buy us some time for stuff. And so we're sitting there. We call Nicole Bride and Bloom, and she says yes. She's like, I'm gonna try to get out there. I have something I'm working on, but I'm gonna get on a plane and be there by like Friday. And like we're starting on Monday. And so she's so young that I had to go to the airport and like pick her up and take her to the rental car place and put my name down so she can drive the fucking car.
Because she's under. So she's under. What is it? 25 to rent a car.
25. You got to be like to rent a car by yourself. So I had to like rent a car, and she was like, "God, this is gonna be so fun." I'm from New York, and I used to driving, and I'm like, "Let's have the extra insurance."
Don't tell me that. Like, waiver. I get it, but don't tell me.
Well,
again, plausible deniability.
I'll pay $20 extra. I don't care. That's fine for me. Like
you got to get the thing done. You've got to get the thing done.
If you're not an experienced driver, the 405 in Los Angeles is really not your best option to like learn highway driving.
Yeah, well, I put her up in the valley, and at the finest Hilton the valley had to offer.
Right.
And then so we had that, and then fast forward to Friday, we still don't have the Miss Stanhope or the Brian character cast, and I'm begging my friends like, hey, listen, send me all your older lady friend actresses that you can. And so I'm looking through all these reels, and I see one of them from Susan Davis. And there's a number at the end of the reel, and so I'm thinking like it's her agent or her manager or something like that. I call it, and it's her, and I'm like, this is highly inappropriate, but I'm gonna pitch you the movie, and I'm gonna pitch you us. And she's like, okay. At the end of it, she's like, I've never been in a cult movie before. This sounds interesting. And so this is at like 9:30 in the morning, and by like 11:30, we've signed her. Okay, so that's one thing.
Oh, nice, good.
So now we just got Brian left, and now we're freaking the fuck out because we're trying to start this on Monday, and like it's like 6:30, 7 o'clock or whatever, like on a Friday night, and we're like calling all our friends. Like we were friends with like Jason Blum and Blumhouse and his head of post production.
Oh, yeah.
And we're friends with them from testing movies and stuff, right? I used to do that. And so we're telling them, can you call fucking CAA and have them stay up late for our little shitty movie? Can you please do this for us? And they're trying to do it. And then finally we get a call like at 7:15 or something, and it's from Gersh, who was really helpful in this whole thing, Gersh the agency. And it's for Giles Maddie, who ends up playing Brian, and it's like, yeah, he's in. I'm like, what happened? Like, we've been waiting the whole day for this fucking guy, because we had an offer to him, and it turns out he was on his way driving down from like San Francisco or something, and he had to pull over to the side of the road to read the script on his fucking phone. and he's just reading his part. And I'm offended because I'm like, you didn't read the whole fucking script. Like, he's like, and Naomi Grossman is our friend who's usually on these things with us. She plays Janice in the movie. She's on American Horror Story.
Oh yeah,
she told us, she's like, we don't always read the scripts, Mishra. Like sometimes we just read our part just to make sure it's not.
You have to make a decision really fast.
I feel
that.
Yeah.
Well, just to make sure. Also, just to make sure it's not a porno. Like
this is reasonable. I get that.
So
that's really all you need to know.
We just
and if it's a porno, will it be a good one? Does it have a good script?
Right. Well, we at this point we were sitting in Barney's Beanery and we just started getting even more drunk because we're like, we're gonna make a movie on Monday. I think we're making a movie, and so we make the movie, and it's relatively trouble free. I mean, it's a stressful situation, but then we come to like night 8 or 9 or something, and I get texts like all night long, and I'm like, I don't answer any of them. I'm just like, at 5:30 in the morning, wake up and I get a phone call, and it's like, something really bad happened, but it's gonna be okay. And I was like,
wait, what?
I was like, all right, what the fuck happened? Like, so they're like,
what else? What else can happen?
So what happens is that we have we're trying to save money, and we put the production trucks and park them outside our production offices, which were in like Bel Air, by the way, on a busy street, Sepulveda, but literally across the street from the office, and there's three big white production trucks. And we actually even have, thankfully, they asked me, I remember being asked about this, hey, do you want a production PA to spend the night with the trucks? And I'm like, that's extra. Yeah, I think we should do that.
Yeah, that's a good call.
So thankfully we did. This guy was sleeping in the middle truck, and this Escalade, this white Escalade pulled up with no plates, and these like three guys get out of it at like 3 o'clock in the morning and start breaking into the first truck, and they in like 5 minutes they're driving away with this truck. And I think it's like kind of thankful they didn't come to the second truck, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, that production PA had a gun. So it's good. It's good that they didn't come knocking at that truck, because they would have probably got something special that night. But so what happens is that the other two guys get in the Escalade and drive off, and this other guy's driving around with the truck. Well, this PA gets in his own car and then gives chase, but stealthily and far back, and he's on the phone with the police. And the police are like, sir, you just need to stand down. We have the description. And he's like, I will not stand down until you're behind this truck. We're like, all right, well, that's great.
Everything.
But I just don't want to get hurt. In my mind, I'm like, what's this guy gonna do? Like, did he bring the gun with him? Is this gonna be like, fucking Tarantino movie? I mean, what's going on here? So
it certainly sounds like a Tarantino movie at this point.
This guy should have got an honorary executive producer credit, I think.
I'm just saying, I hope this guy got points.
I'll tell you what I gave him. But I mean, like, so what happens is that he ends up like the car ends up going to like the 110 freeway, right next to the Felix sign, the iconic like Felix sign, right? Yeah. And it's right next to USC, and then the police come in at that point. Then all of a sudden, like the helicopter light goes on him, and then these two cop cars come in, and now it's a televised high-speed chase, actually.
Oh God!
And if you buy the US Blu-ray, there is footage. When we went to Fantasia for our world premiere. We gave them the footage, and they surprised everyone there and the cast. Who never even. Most of the cast even know this had happened. They didn't know this had happened.
No clue.
Yeah. So we surprised everybody with that. So that's on the DVD if you want to take a look. And so what ends up happening is this guy tries to gun it and like run around the surface streets next to USC, and eventually they corner him at this Chevron / McDonald's hybrid station, and they have like 20 cops and like whatever, and they're like, at gunpoint. He's getting out of the car. And it turns out he's a very handsome gentleman. Like, he's a handsome felon. And so, like,
I saw the video and I thought you could have cast this guy in the movie.
I was going to say, okay, so after you're out, after you've paid your debt to society, would you like to be in my next film?
Well, we were like, if you watch the movie, Naomi comes on a lot of these with us, and she would have tried to come on this one too. Unfortunately, she's traveling for work. She's in some like Netflix movie. But so she is always like, Janice doesn't have a husband anymore. Janice is ready to find her way as a woman again. And maybe this guy, this handsome felon, could be, how Janice got her groove back or whatever.
Hey,
and where it's like, wow.
This and it's his redemption arc. If he
actually
romances Janet.
That motherfucker owes us some money for like the goddamn the deductible on the insurance we had to pay, and restitution is the word I think of. And I really thought in my mind, in my dream of my fantasy in my head, he'd be like our monkey butler, working for free, working off that restitution money he owes us. And then if I wanted to put him in the movie, I wouldn't give him any fucking money. He'd do it fucking free. And and a win-win for him. He's going to be a star. It's going to be a star in the sequel. So there we are. Yeah. Well, I mean, everyone says that. We're better. We're better than that. We can be more clever than that. I'm not going to tell you what. But I'm just saying we're better.
Is it I just want to venture a guess. Is it garden level? Is that what it is?
You'll see. And the prequel is not going to be called Studio. Okay, I can tell you that. Okay.
Let's get that out of the way.
You gotta work. You gotta.
Do you take me for some kind of hack?
There's got to be even though Clayton died in the movie, you got to find a way to put him in whatever sequel you do because.
You should listen to this man and get him in your writer.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, I got a stack of scripts back here I've been trying to sell. I could totally work Clayton into a prequel. I'm good.
Well, you know who also was very keen to want to be in the prequel is Taylor Nichols, who plays our cult leader Jerry.
Oh yeah.
He's always like, come on, man, prequel. And I'm like, Taylor, I'd have to spend so much fucking money de-aging you. The Irishman of horror movies, so de-age so this prequel can move on.
It's just always shrouded, always at just a quarter face shot.
Well, my thing is,
Alok.
I was like, I'll use a lookalike and we'll use your voice, so you still get paid. How about that? Like, well,
I was gonna say the other way is to go like the way that Francis Ford Coppola handled Marlon Brando on Apocalypse Now. Like John had the right idea. Yeah, shadows and quick shots and this and that. That would totally work.
So Alok,
I don't think you go to a prequel unless you run out of ideas. That's typically. Or you can make a Godfather 2, and I don't take anything away from that. I love Godfather 2, but I think that the next adventure is.
Well, Godfather 2 though is split between the ongoing plot and then the retro plot, so that's a bit of a
And they're using obviously different actors like for the parts, right? So it's like if you're going young, then you can do something else, but
And for the record, because of the fact that you mentioned the whole chase thing and everything else, I was going to do it anyway, but I've literally just bought the Blu-ray for 1BR. I will happily pimp this to anybody.
For Clayton, did you have any specific parts of the film or aspects of your character that you wanted to talk about a little bit? Like, for example, like how were you approached about that character? Like, how were you,
how did that pitch go?
Right.
I mean, it happened pretty fast, from casting to being on set. I feel like it was about like maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And, and just in the preparation of it, honestly, like a lot of it just kind of came, being on set once we got the glasses on, like that was a big thing. Like when I was able to actually physically put those glasses on and have just the one eye, I was like, oh, well, this is what it's like to have one eye. And so he kind of leads with that eye when he's walking around to see. And, he has the ear that he had. You couldn't really see it too much in the shot, but he's had his ear damaged and scarred. And so, you can only really hear out of one ear. So for me, a lot of that, I use that for the physicality. And then that's sort of just kind of, once you get that physicality, like you're in your body and the rest kind of just follows, you know what I mean? And I mean, that was a big part for me, just knowing that he can only kind of hear out of one ear and see out of one eye, and kind of, use kind of that image of like an abused animal, that they're very skittish, they're very, and I mean, that to me, that was a lot of kind of what I used for it.
And that was something that I really noticed in your performance very, very early on when you do your first scene and you're walking up, and it's like this determined thing of I have to break down this sense of me being abused and feeling afraid of everything and handing off the book. And it was it was such a great moment, because it was like watching friends of mine who deal with, far more deep issues of social anxiety than I do. I have seen that move many times where they're like psyching themselves just to talk to another human being. And you brought that across so well.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Certainly.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I thought your coach had a lot of really interesting advice for you too. Like,
you
said
it was definitely, I work with a coach out here, great coach. He has a lot of big clients. His name's Jamie Walrab. Definitely want to give him credit. And, we do like shadow work, working on different aspects of ourselves and finding that in, being able to infuse that character, infuse that aspect of ourselves into our character. And it was, really working with that archetype of the sad, lonely little boy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
That's Lester. You know what I mean? He's been imprisoned in this place, at a young age. He's been there for years. I forget how long in the script it was, and, I made the choice that happened, like 18, 19, this guy was brought in, you know what I mean? Probably some like study, like they were doing like a psychological study when he was going to school at UCLA or something like that. And, gotcha, bitch.
Go ahead.
Oh no,
his character is so interesting. Like his arc is so great.
Yeah.
And we actually had like some fights about so when we went back in August of 2018 to reshoot the ending, we actually shot we had an original ending which none of us liked, and then we shot two more endings actually. And I'll just say this, I can't say much about it, but I can say one of the endings that we shot, like Clayton doesn't die, or like Lester doesn't die. And that was a weirder ending for us. And I was so much, and one day when we do a better DVD, we'll probably include some of these endings on there.
Please.
But I thought that him kind of becoming this noble, from being the creepy guy to being the guy, noble character at the end, spoke so much more volumes. And Clayton like pulls it off so well too. Like every like just subtle nuance of like, especially at the end when he's like, it's traumatizing. That whole ending is traumatizing.
I love me some special features, so that sounds like it's going to be a cool addition to the story, the ethos of it all.
I'll say this too. Right now, the most beautiful version of this movie that we have, actually, it's doesn't have all the extras on it, but it has the most beautiful artwork and inserts and all this stuff is the Italian version.
Really?
And if you get the Italian,
I just now.
I just got this actually. Just came in the mail. You see it? Hold on.
Wait. Just gotta get it at the right angle.
Lost in your background.
Put your hands on either side of it.
It says Benvenutio nel incubo, which I think is like welcome to the nightmare once again. But it has, I didn't open it up because I think it's gonna be a collector's thing. I got two of them. One of them I'm gonna open up, the other one I'm gonna like do whatever. But it was it's the euro is exactly our dollar right now.
Yeah,
so you can actually get it for €750. It costs you $750 to ship it. You'll have it here in like a week or whatever. So essentially, $15. And the American version Blu-ray which does have all the special stuff on it is actually $17.99 right now. So it's even cheaper than that.
This is one of those movies.
I feel like I should be drinking with you people.
I don't want to make you feel left out.
I'm gonna go get a beer. Clayton, you have to entertain.
Okay.
Yes.
I was gonna say,
I actually have a question.
I was going to say, Clayton or Alok, at some point in time, if you're in the mood and you want to join us for a Review Under the Influence, come on down.
We love a good RUI.
Yeah, an RUI is always a good time with us. And it's just become a thing now because I've also been having fun pimping. There's a local shop near, literally 10 blocks up the street.
These are not actual sponsors. Dave just likes to hold his beer up.
Yeah,
tell everybody about it.
Someday, these people will sponsor us. Damn it! I want the Carlsberg people to send me at least I don't know, a 6-pack.
I'll go top towels, Zuri. It'll be fine.
I'm easy or I'm cheap, but I try hard not to be both. Anyway, sorry.
Yes, the invitation is always there. If you ever want to join us for a review, hey.
Oh, nice.
Oh, good choice.
Oh no, what did we get? I have to.
Three Pistols. Trois Pistoles.
Trois Pistoles.
Oh,
really good stuff.
I bet you they have that at Beertopia.
A large format photo, mind you.
Now it's a podcast.
It's extra pixels.
Finally got his beer. I love it.
Well, I'm gonna have to open another one here, and
that's fine. Alok mentioned your coach for the movie, and I wanted to ask if that was specifically like a physicality coach, a vocal coach, or just like kind of a general character acting coach.
It's a general character acting coach, but the coach that I work with, Jamie, does a lot of embodiment work. I continue to work with him. Mm-hmm. And a lot of stuff that him and I worked on was, sort of like psyche to this character, because, what I'm being told is the truth isn't the truth. So it's like, 1984, 2 + 2 = 5. Yes. 2 + 2 5, 2 + 2 = 5, 2 + 2 = 5. Wait, no, it doesn't. It equals 4. Oh,
it equals 5.
There are 5 lights.
5.
They're all 4 lights.
I find as an actor that the entering through the physical world is what is useful for me and has the most power. Yeah. Everybody's different. There's no right or wrong way to do it.
Well,
Shadow I'm work, so intimately familiar with that. Yeah.
Shadow work is inherently finding a way in, because you're actually finding the part of yourself that can relate to that person, aren't you?
Exactly.
I think.
So, no, it's I remembered the thing. Go ahead. No, go ahead. You're our guest here. I leave you the floor.
The big thing about Lester was that I really connected to also was that he's compassionate. Like in this fucked up world that he lives in, he's trying to find a way to make this transition for Sarah as easy as possible. And, he really cares about, her not getting hurt, as fucked up as that sounds in this world. That's his world.
That's very sweet.
He's doing the only option that he sees available. He's doing the most kind thing that's available to him. And I thought
exactly.
It's also what the lead actress has to face too when she finally brings aboard the friend of hers that comes aboard. She has to kind of go through the same thing you're going through. So she's sort of, it's almost like you're passing the torch to her, because she's doing the same thing at that point.
Right. And she's doing it with a motivation, though. She knows what she's doing, I think, if I'm correct on that. Some
of it's up for interpretation.
I think we all would have loved to have seen Lester and Sarah running down that street together at the end.
Yeah.
I think we all understand what Lester had to do to make that all happen. So I'll tell you what.
Look, that ending you had. So you say that you tested other endings first. That ending you have now seems pretty uncompromising. So I'm wondering, and all the better for it, because that's what makes that kind of is the gut punch of the movie at the end.
Oh God!
But how did you get there?
What happens is that how can I put this? So this is like, we disagreed with David Marmor on very few things. Like we all had the same mindset. We were like the bigger picture thing was that we didn't care how long it took for this movie to come out, just so long as it was a good movie. Mm-hmm. And shooting the ending was really key to that. And the 2 endings that we shot, without saying too much about it, one of them is more of like Sarah gets out on her own steam, like not without help from, somebody else. She does it herself. And we're like, well, if it was that easy, then wouldn't everyone do it? Like it's got to be a thing where it's a little harder than you think to get out. And so that's what was sort of, and we were actually in the middle of like smack dab and Me Too and all this other stuff at the time. Like it was the height of like Me Too and like, she should be able to do it for herself and da-da-da. And I was like, yeah, that has nothing to do with it. Like your emotions are being tingled in some other weird way. Like, no, let's just look at what the black and white facts are here.
Yeah.
So, and I from testing movies, and we tested this movie too, by the way. Like, so we and not as scientifically, proper as we would have liked to, but we did like sort of 20 viewings of it, 20 person viewings of it, and we did a focus group for it afterwards, right? And I have like my best friends are the best moderators in the business, and so they were able to like lead people through it and kind of figure out like, well, they prefer this ending to this ending, why do they prefer this ending? And really the ending that we have, when spoiler alert, is really a much better sequel potential, frankly. Like it's literally the end or is it kind of ending, that was as a greedy money growing producer, I said like, look, we need to do that. It needs to have more of a life than just this movie. And David Marmer is also a producer on the film as well. In fact, like he's like equal footing to all of us, actually. Like, he put his money where his mouth was too, right? He bet on himself. And so, finally, from the testing process, it was agreed that more of the audience enjoyed it. And then I think it was funny, like once we saw it with like a Fantasia audience, like these festival audiences, and we hear the gasp and this, and then he really did kind of like turn to us and like, yeah, this is the more satisfying ending. This is the more entertaining ending, at the very least. Maybe it's not something that because he's a writer brain and he has a director brain. And so the writer brain was holding him back. Like he didn't want to we're like, whereas we see like producers, I think we see things more of a God's eye view, and we're like, is it entertaining? If people like an ending of a film, in a testing sense, your film can test anywhere from 7 to 10 points higher, right? Just because of the ending. It's the last thing they see before they get that pen in their hand and they start like writing. What would you rate the movie? Excellent, very good, good, fair, poor. Well, I was going to give it very good, but now I'm giving it excellent. So it makes a big difference.
Well, was Rosemary's Baby a conscious influence there? Because for the first probably half hour or so, there's this a little bit of ominous. It's a little ominous, but it's very. Everybody's getting along with her really well, and there's something going on, but we sense it.
There's no way that people are this nice.
Yeah.
Everyone always says that in Los Angeles. You do get that feeling sometimes. People like you don't know are like, hey, how's it going? And like you're like, who the fuck is this person? Like anybody from New York who moves to LA is always very off put by this. Like, and David actually, when he was writing the movie, he moved into Just Such a Place. I mean, I'll tell you this, I lived in exactly that stucco, like uniform looking place that has the pool, whatever. I mean, all of us have in a weird way who live in Los Angeles. And, what's interesting is that in terms of him writing from his own experience, he also had a misforgotten cat. Like he was always fucking worried about that. He was worried he was going to escape and all the thing. And the funny thing is, people always give us so much shit about this fucking cat. And I swear to God, it was not the production, the prop department's best work at all. It's the fakest looking plastic piece of shit. I had to pay so much fucking money for this fake ass cat. No, for the fake VFX smoke to cover up this shitty looking cat. And that is like the one thing we fucking get. It's like, you killed a cat. I would never watch the rest of the film.
I can't believe
one star.
I can't believe you did an audience test screening and you still kept the dead cat. That's great.
I loved it.
That is such a mood.
To be fair, let me tell you this.
Okay.
First off, everyone should just know it's a fucking fake cat.
It's a fake cat.
David Marmer fucking loves cats. If we had got him on today, he's busy writing the second movie right now. That's why I could not bring him on. But he every time you bring him on to one of these things, there's cats just crawling all over him and putting their butts in the camera and all this stuff. And the whole thing about it is that this is the worst thing he can imagine, which is why he put it in the movie, right?
Right.
And I'll go further with it. He wanted to do something far worse to that cat. Like he wanted to fucking crucify that cat. And even we were like, we can't do that, dude. We can't do that. You can't do that. You just can't do that.
It's not gonna play. It's not gonna play.
Yeah, it's not gonna play.
How was
we barely show it as it is, right?
Yeah,
and it's cut away. And by the way, it's even in the trailer. So right?
Yes.
But despite all that,
don't come for us.
One comment. That's a one.
You know what's coming.
The woke pet police come for us every fucking day, and they're just like, "You killed a cat! How dare you, sir, kill a cat?" And we're like, "And who is this sick individual, David Marmer?" David Marmer was cats more than anyone else in the world. This is the worst thing you can imagine. Like, just like.
No, see, then you just throw that in as an extra of David with all of the cats crawling over. Like, I would just like to say,
you know what?
That I love cats.
That's a fantastic idea, and I think if we ever do another version of this, which we will, I want to put that at the very beginning. You can't watch the rest of the movie until you click through on that, and that'll be the first thing that comes on when the DVD is loading or something.
Hello, my name is David Marmer. I would just like to give you a
use that as the intro scene.
That there is some cat violence in this movie, but I would like you to know that I love cats. They are my favorite.
Well, of course he loves cats,
and I love them very much.
That's the
I would never hurt a real cat.
You want to hear
only a fake puppet cat.
You want to hear a funny cat story? The story is this. So the actor cat we got. So in the movie, the cat's name is Giles, right? And Brian character, his real name is Giles Matty. In addition to that, actually, we have the husband stealing nurse that her father ran away with, right? And you never get to see her face, and it's a fucking shame because her name is Haley Giles. And first off, she's gorgeous. And like we had the shot, like her giving the drink over the shoulder, and that's the only fucking shot you see of her in the movie. Sadly, it's just like this, red-haired like vixen, like, but you can't really see her face very well. And just giving a drink to the dad at the very beginning. So we had three Giles in this movie, right?
Yep.
And so that fucking actor cat, which was horribly expensive, and it gave a nice rate on it. I wish I could remember the people that we got him from, cat wrangler people. They that cat was so fucking good that we're like, God damn, that's one take Giles. That's one take Giles right there. So what we would do as a joke is we would call Giles Matty to set, right? And when the cat was acting, right? And we'd be like, look at that fucking cat over there. That's fucking one take. That's one take Giles. What the fuck happened to you? And,
perfect.
but the thing was,
the cat is a professional.
This is all a joke, by the way. But Giles Matty is he's an amazing actor. Between him and like Nicole Bryden Bloom, both of these people can cry like 8 different ways. Like they can literally. I mean, they're such good actors, and I'll be honest, I can't wait to work with them again. I mean, I feel like our crew is like Tarantino in a way, where we like to use the same people if we can, wherever we can. It's going to be interesting. He's been on a ton of stuff. He's been on like True Blood. He's been on like he was on one of the seasons of 20. He was on the season of 24 that Kiefer Sutherland wasn't in. That was like only the black dude, I want to say. He was like 17 episodes, and like he's on Ever After, that fairy tale show, and like was on for like 4 or 5 seasons.
I'll have to look and see which episode that was. It's been a while since I finished my rewatch of it, but
Ever After. He's like Rumpelstiltskin's son, I want to say.
Okay. I was gonna say, wait, did I just forget the name of the actor who plays Rumpelstiltskin? What just? No, that's one of the things that I'm excited about is looking through this cast list again and looking for all the other things that they've been in.
He's the guy from fucking Trainspotting. He plays Begbie.
Yeah.
Robert
Carlyle.
Yeah, Robert Carlyle. That's his dad in the show.
No shit.
So, yeah.
Very cool.
He's still good friends with him. They talk when they've been drinking together on the phone. And so I'm like, I can't wait to have something for Robert Carlyle, and I'm going to get him through Giles Matty.
To me, though, I think that the cat thing was actually very important plot-wise, because it was something that this cult was not going to allow any sort of outside influence. I don't want you to be able to have any sort of emotional resonance with anything outside of our perspective. And that sequence and that whole moment where, first of all, the note, I was like, this is about to get really, really ugly. That just blew my mind when I read it.
It was so important. That was like an instant, we're not screwing around here.
This
is even before the oven
really
thing.
Drove
just
it
that
home
note.
Well, the funny thing about it was that someone like we were watching. So we're sitting at Video Village watching all this stuff, right? when we're not having to be in the movie, because if you watch the movie, we're in the movie quite a bit. Actually, sadly, me and the other producer, my producing partner Shane Forrester, and all the other producers too. Well, like it's funny, like you'll see us constantly moving stuff in the background. Yep. And that's our names, that's our credits in the title, movie number 1 and movie number 2. And then Allard Cantor, who was the one who first gave me the script, who's David Marmer's manager, is also a producer on the film. And he's always lurking around corners and stuff. And he's lurker number 1.
That's awesome.
I mean, oh my god, I love in the credits when the people in the background get like very specific names like that. They're so good.
We'd be literally sitting at Video Village, and they're like, "All right," because we get the people we get for the extras, like friends and family, right? And so we call people like, "We can't afford. We have this big, scene today. Can you please come down?" Yeah, I tried to make it, but like that 405 is a mess. I can't possibly like, fuck you. One thing I ask you to do, the one fucking favor, you can't fucking come down, drag your fucking ass over here. And so then you're like, okay, you need to get in there, Mishra. And they're like, why are you wearing like, I have like a logo. Where is it? I have a logo on my shirt, for example. And they're like, why are you wearing shirts with logos on them? And I'm like,
oh shit!
I think I'm a real fucking producer, and I'm supposed to sit at Video Village and watch the fucking footage. Like, and they're like, well, we thought ahead. You can wear this other black T-shirt. I was like, fuck you people. But I mean, we save some money in the one hand, so that was good. But the point of it is that the question was, what was the question you had asked? Hold on, coming back to it.
Rewind.
Yeah. That was hold on. You would. And I'm gonna mess it up here.
It's okay. We'll get it in post.
Don't worry. We go through this all the time in ours.
I'm post.
I didn't even drink that much of that, and I'm fucking this up.
I'm on 3, so
hey, that's the name of the
show.
So
well, these are like 9% alcohol beers. So
I only just
Belgian goes a long fucking way.
Yeah. So I was trying to say, when I was at Video Village, we left David alone mostly, right? We just we're like, hey, that's good enough. And our favorite like sort of producer, money grubbing producer, like the things you hear on the set. Moving on. We got it. Let's go. So we don't have to shoot anymore. But, we're not wasting any more time. We're going. We're going to make our day. No, we're not. We're not going to make our day. Whatever.
Well, with a 15-day shooting schedule, you have to do that.
No, for sure. So what I noticed, the thing I noticed was that that fucking original sign, that note they had written out, you bitch, you selfish bitch, the whole thing. I couldn't read it. I was like, is someone not like, this is a doctor writing here. We need to fucking get this right. Like, so they wrote it again. And I was like, can I just see it before I still can't understand what the fuck that says. Who has Anita's handwriting? Can somebody like my kingdom for something would need handwriting or whatever. And I think it might have been Shane, like my other producing partner, that actually wrote it out at the end where he's like, he's South African. He's like, I gotta figure out how to feel and write angry. Just fucking write it. Well, he did it.
Just on the spot. If you could do that in the next 10 minutes, that'd be swell. Thank you.
So he did it, and we put it out there, and we could finally see it. We're like, all right, go ahead, because it's a really fucking important part. They need to see what that fucking says. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to pay like $1,500 to change this in post. Like, some special effect bullshit I got to deal with now. Green screen motherfuckers.
That's gonna be the little tagline before our opening credits. Green screen motherfuckers.
So
it's always a challenge by that.
You did this film in 15 days?
Well, it was 15 days initially, and then we went back and did reshoots for 4 days. So we did like I want to say we did 4 days at the thing is shot at an actual functioning people living there apartment complex.
I was going to say, because being somebody who's had to like fight to try to get locations, I was wondering how you got that whole area to work with.
Well, we had another place initially. And then like 2 days before, the place we originally had came back and like, we want a lot more money. And I'm like, fuck
bless
yourself.
you.
Because we don't have any more money. We don't have like, look, what we gave you was like, that's like take my arm. Like that's what we got.
They think this is a Marvel movie,
Well, it's funny. They had a Fox movie shoot there before, and this is the place we actually went with. They had a Fox movie shoot there before. I think they may have been giving the tenants some sort of like money for the whole thing, whatever. Like maybe they gave them like $10 or $20 a day. I don't know what it was, but they were so nice to work with us. And some of the tenants were like, can we be in the movie? And we're like, yes, yes, you
oh
can.
my God,
You know?
yes.
Like,
Please be extras.
Free extra, money grubbing producer. But like, so we said yes. The only thing that sucked, the only one thing sucked about the place was that one day we had this like, someone had this fucking mistreated dog in their house. It just wouldn't shut the fuck up. And like, I mean, just barking the whole day. And I'm like, can we break in? Like, can we?
Can someone play with this doggo, please?
No, so I mean, we were
just give him some love. Give him some lap time.
We were trying to figure out if we could take out the sound in post, which we kind of could at the end of the day. But second that person got home, we had someone literally waiting for them. Like, hey, can I give you $20 and go with you and take the dog for a walk for like an hour, like, you know, or whatever it is, because this dog would, you know. But it turned out like the dog had some sort of anxiety clearly, and like, you know, when the master got home, the dog was much more sedate, so it helped
California.
out. But, I mean,
where's the doggy CBD? Somebody get the CBD treats.
There's more of that now. Yeah, you're right. But long short, that place where we shot it actually was down the street from my old house. That is actually down the street. My poor dog passed away already, but I take my dog to the vet, which is literally around the corner from it. So every time I took her to the vet, I would go like just cruise down the street and just look out. Like, what's going on at Asila Del Mar, right? But I'll tell you a fun fact. Where we shot the movie for the apartment complex was for 4 days. The rest of the time was on a soundstage. So every time you see the inside of the apartment or inside of any apartment, it's the same soundstage that they keep on moving around and dressing up and making different and stuff like that. So anytime you see the inside of an apartment, it's just that. And also the outside when she's running away and stuff. So the outside of the apartment, we had to shoot something completely different when she gets out of the apartment. It's a different location. We try to give you the perception she's been running for a long time. And I wish we'd had a couple more shots of that. But sadly, again, when you're on a budget, like you don't have time. And we didn't have enough time to get, I wanted extra footage of her running. We had no footage of her running, extra footage of her running. Because I wanted to make it seem like she had been running a long time. So when she does stop and she's trying to catch her breath, it makes more sense. And that's the one thing we get from people. People are like, run, bitch, run, you know, keep on running, you know.
So, she hasn't been running that long.
But that ending sequence with the neighborhood that has like the lights going down all the way down the streets with that was a completely different neighborhood. Also in the valley that we had to go. We had one like night to shoot everything, like including the alternate ending we shot, including like whatever, the lights going down the street, and you know, trying to make it seem like the lights were coming from the various apartment complexes and stuff, and like we were only supposed to be like on the sidewalk, but sometimes we got a little closer.
So that wasn't
like you do.
So that wasn't a special effect when all the lights start coming on down the block, or how'd you do that?
There's like, I think 4 or 5 of them are real. And then the rest of them are sort of added in. So a lot of them are real, but there's a lot, probably maybe half. I don't even remember, to be honest, how many we have going on. I think it's like 8 to 10 or something. So maybe it's like half more are added in.
Was Clayton brought in for the reshoots, or were you?
Yeah. He was part of the alternate ending.
Oh, okay.
Too, I think.
Hey.
Okay. So so when you decide to do a reshoot like that, do you have to basically, how much of the crew do you have to grab together again? You know,
I mean, a whole crew. It's a whole fucking thing. It's like we I'll tell you what we did.
Everybody.
What we needed to get was more responses. Well, in addition to the endings, right? There were a lot of little pickups here and there that we needed to do to kind of make scenes a bit more richer and believable. And one of them was like the torture sequence when Sarah's getting, you know. What we did, funnily enough, this is what you do with filmmaking. We didn't have the sets anymore. Like the sets were gone, long gone, whatever. It just so happened that this like 103-year-old craftsman that I was living in, my office had the same floor as her apartment floor.
Oh,
right.
Wow.
So what we did is we took out everything in the office. We built like a fake wall that we built a fake wall this way, and then we lit it in such a way that, you know, we got Giles. You know, it wasn't even Giles that came back to do it. We had somebody else like nailing her hands in the wall and her just screaming bloody murder in the house.
Oh,
and here's the sad part of it. So we had paid all this money to get this like prosthetic hand, that like when you nailed like the thing into the back of the hand there, blood would just like explode out of it, right? But these guys, and they're I don't want to talk too much shit on them, but like they put the bladder on this side instead of this side. And so when they were trying to do it, it wasn't working, right? And eventually got something out of it, but not a lot. But they took it to the bathroom to try to figure it out, and the whole thing just fucking exploded in the bathroom.
Yeah.
And meanwhile, I call it David Marmer's revenge, because like we were kind of mean to David when he had his baby and wouldn't get us the fucking director's cut. Like, what is it with your head? He's like, I'm not sleeping very well. And we're like, so I had a baby too. Like I had a baby in August, and we were doing the reshoots in like the end of August, September. I not cleverly, but like I intelligently sent my wife and the dog and her parents away to my parents' house. And I had that whole house to myself, so I could actually A, sleep, and B, we wouldn't be bothered by them when we're trying to shoot a fucking movie. I didn't have time. The fucking hand exploded in the bathtub, like all over the blood, all over the curtains, everything else. And we're just trying to shoot. We're like, we don't have time to fucking clean this up. We're like, we're just gonna shoot this thing. And so my wife came home and she was just like, what the fuck happened here? And I'm like, it's all corn syrup. It'll come off. It'll all come off. You just like wash it off. We'll get I'm gonna call the maid. Don't worry. You're not gonna have to clean that up. But we just didn't have time to clean it up and stuff like that. So anyway, that's another part that always bothers me about that shot, is that we had to put some fake, CG blood in it or whatever. So that's it's not as good as it could have been, because we wanted to use real fucking practical effects, right? Like we were all about that. But unfortunately, like when you don't have time, you don't have money, you get like you have one hand to make this work and stuff, and they fucking put a nail in there and it was not coming out because they didn't put the bladder in the right place. You do what you do. But like we shot the house for the reshoots we shot the house for one day and did the whole wall scene in the house and everything. We got that movie magic there, and then we shot back at the apartment complex for 2 more days, I want to say, and I forget what we shot the 4th day. I forget. I can't think of it, but maybe I
always thought that was on the outside at the other apartment complex when we shot the stuff.
Yeah. You're right. Yeah. That's what it was. The 4th day was the ending sequence, the alternative ending. Also, the actual ending that we had was all during that 4th day and stuff like that. But look, we had a great cinematographer, David Bolin, who's amazing. This guy's doing like Kendrick Lamar videos and like he's doing all these like huge
big now. I can't remember what it is. I just saw it like post up. He just did something pretty big.
He did Winona Ryder, Dermot Mulroney movie. I'm saying his name right. Called something, and then it's Cow, I think, in this country or something. But like it's called different names in different countries. But it just came out actually. So that he's doing amazing work right now. He was a really big factor in like the whole sort of look and just the emotional sort of, I don't know, the atmosphere of it and stuff. And like I said, like he is doing crazy work. We had a terrific post-production crew. The sound design was done by my college roommate, Jason George, who like has not made a dime on this movie to this day. Has not made a dime on this movie. No, I'm serious. Like that guy, like he's a blood brother of mine. He's like, anytime you're gonna do a movie, we're gonna help you. I mean, he got us onto like the Sony lot, onto like these like sound stages that like Michael Bay had been working on a week before. We just like sneak in on the weekend and like do
so many beers.
Oh, trust me. I've given him. We went to USC together. Like we went to USC together. He's had a lot of beers from me like throughout my life. And one day when this movie makes money, we're almost there. It's funny. Like it's funny what happens with independent film. You think that you are done with it when you make the movie. It's not the case at all. You have to like, especially for a small film, you have to do everything you can. If you're lucky enough to actually have a decent film, like we knew from the testing that we would score like in the 80s to like 90s, right? So that means it scores really well. If you score above 65%, then you're pretty good. If the other score you worry about is that would people definitely recommend it, right? And we had people almost across the board. We were in the 90s as far as definitely recommending it. There's only like the only people who hate this movie are people who think that we've done actual violence to a cat, right? And so because of that, that's why some of our scores like on IMDb are like a 5.8 or whatever else, right? But every other person who's a horror fan who gets horror movies really enjoys this film. So we know we had very little rejection of the film. So what do we do in terms of like trying to like do a marketing strategy for this film? Well, we were supposed to come out in theaters April of 2020. And we were like thinking, oh my gosh, this is going to be great. We're going to be in like 15 theaters and I'm sure we'll get some nice word of mouth. The reviews are great. I mean, look, we were 88% on Rotten Tomatoes, and we were like thinking like, or 86% or whatever.
That's pretty good for Rotten Tomatoes.
For a horror movie, it's not bad.
Yeah.
But we're not a horror movie. We're actually a psychological thriller with elements of horror. I think that's the trick of it. And so we realized like we were in March. In March, we were like, yeah, we'll totally be coming out like in the theaters. This fucking COVID thing, it's all gonna blow over. And then by like the end of March, we're like, that's the beginning of March. By the middle of March, we're like, we are fucked. We are proper fucked here. I mortgaged my house, like
after all putting out the physical and metaphorical fires.
Allegedly,
and then 2020 happened.
Mortgaged the house. But like, so what happens is that we just like switch gears. We're like, hey, what do we got to do here? Like, let's get on every fucking podcast that we can get on. Let's look, this movie's going to have a sequel. The biggest and best thing we can do is put it out there enough so that we get a big enough audience to watch it. Now, in addition to what's going on for the release of the film, we're going to Netflix and we're like, come on, Netflix, can you take this film? They rejected us twice. And we were like, what the fuck are we supposed to do with this? Like, I mean, like, so we come out on VOD, and thankfully we have done enough of a festival run. We did a very targeted festival run in all these different countries where we went to the fucking festival. And I will tell you this, for people who are younger filmmakers, if you get into these festivals and you have a film, not a short, but a film, you need to go there. You need to fucking shake the hands, kiss the rings, do all the fucking shit. Because I swear to God, next time you can just pick up the phone and be like, hey, I got a new movie. And they'll be like, oh, I want to see what work you have done, my friend. And you become friends with these people. And it becomes a whole community. And you also meet other filmmakers too. You're like, shit, as a producer, I want to work with these motherfuckers. So you do all those things.
Yeah. Because Kat and I both work for Omaha Film Festival as their production team, and getting a chance to hang out with people and actually getting an opportunity to spend time, get to know the people, the actors or the producers or whatever. Yeah, you're looking forward to some of these people coming back and just
absolutely.
I mean, you probably take some of them even though they have a bad movie. You're like, it's Alok, he's cool.
I mean, okay, so part of it is obviously, like, is this something that speaks to me personally on an artistic, aesthetic, popcorn enjoyment level, whatever. But then some of it is also, I mean, again, live performance versus film and television, a little bit different mediums, but generally speaking, so many people that I have worked with personally on both sides have always said, like, 9 times out of 10, I will work with somebody that I know is good to work with versus someone that I have heard good things about, maybe had a good screen test, whatever, but I don't know them personally. Most of the time, I'm going to pick the people that I have already worked with personally, or that I know in some capacity, because I can stand them for, 9 out of the 10 days of filming or shooting or whatever.
I'll tell you this, become Facebook friends with me, because I'll tell you the truth. If you do, and you're like, fucking Clayton over here, he's like, I never go on Facebook, but I want to show my wedding picture. I'm like, he's
do it,
Clayton.
Clayton.
Like, no, I'm telling you, like 3-4, I would say 80% of the cast that we cast were through friends. Like, I knew Taylor Nichols because I love fucking Metropolitan and what's filming films. That's not a horror thing to say, but I love Metropolitan. Like, that was one of my favorite movies in college, and that's a great film where the guy took the money he was supposed to get from film school and just fucking made a movie. Right? It's an inspirational tale, and so I met Taylor Nichols at parties, and I was like, I got a Metropolitan poster at home, and he's like, really, dude? So like, I mean, I called him up and I was like, hey, listen, I'm a crazy Indian guy. I got the Metropolitan poster. I got a script. I want you to be a cult leader. He fucking read it. He said yes. And Naomi Grossman, I've known for 20 years. I know Clayton Hoff. I know, a lot of this movie we cast through just our own friends and stuff. So look, that's a great thing to tell anybody here. Just become friends with people you like. And if they see your work and look, for me, it's always a thing like this as a producer. Can they fucking act? Can they really act? because like I have friends that have been fucking trying to do this for 10 years. And like I see them in plays or whatever, and I'm like,
well,
like I don't want to ruin their dream, but I know they can't act.
I watched Clayton's reel. I watched Clayton's reel on IMDb, and he's delivering some Tarantino level dialogue there in a couple.
No.
I'm excited to watch that reel. By the way, they've been telling me about it for like the last
There's some really
all
really
of
cool
this
stuff
morning.
in there.
I've been hearing about Clayton's reel, and I'm really excited to see it now.
But that's my point. That's my point to you, right? I know Clayton can act. So he's one of my friends, like on Facebook, where I'm like, all right, if you put something on, and it's so stupid, but when you get kind of bogged down in the casting process, you might not be thinking of all your friends. And if I have like 3,000 friends, I don't know what the fuck I have on Facebook, but I'm just like, I'm not going to go through the whole thing. But if I'm looking through things and I'm thinking about people with consistency, I'm like, oh,
right.
Clayton's wife is an amazing vegan chef. And I think of him, you know, whatever it is. Like, I will think to try to cast him and stuff like that. So, yeah. Anyway.
Yeah. No.
But I was trying to say this. Sorry, I was trying to say this before about I probably forget. That's the reason I'm trying to bum rush through this.
Do it.
Is that the coming out August, and then Netflix, we did very well coming out, and we had done such a huge job of doing our festival run to get awareness of the film up and do whatever else. So every time we had articles during like any festival that we were at, big articles and that, or got out like another Rotten Tomatoes accredited review or whatever, it was a stickiness to it, right? Like you have to like go through and make sure that like the horror community, at least your horror community, it's on their radar. And they're like, oh, I heard about this movie here. I heard this movie here. The visuals we kept were consistent throughout. Like, it's like, you know, Sarah going, oh, you know, whatever it is, you know, it's consistent, like association. And so what happens is that, like, when you finally get onto like iTunes or whatever, if you have a big enough push that week that you're coming out, then you're going to have people purchase you and buy you and mention you and the whole thing. And we did so well on iTunes between the US and Canada and with that. We got to like number 3 and we were like, all right, we're almost there. And like, you know, then we didn't get to number 1, but we were like, all right, we did some work here. And then we went back to Netflix and we're like, look, here's how we did, you know? And they were like, all right, we'll take you.
Come on.
We'll give you no money. We'll take you. And we're like, you know, Oliver, whatever twist.
I mean,
thank you, sir. Give me a
please, sir, may I have some more?
So the other part of the story is that like it's COVID. We're in the height of COVID. Like the people aren't going out, whatever. And so we're like, you know what? I really do feel we couldn't tell anybody we're going to be on Netflix in August now, right? And it's like May.
No.
It's May that we find this out. And no, here's the reason why. Because you're on video on demand, you want to make as much money as you can, like during this period of time. And then when you come on Netflix, like they paid you whatever fee they're paying you, and you're not making any money after that. But if you're smart, the whole summer we kept on like doing podcasts, getting the awareness up there, soliciting like journalists ourselves. Like, I mean, look, we had a great producer at our other film. That's about it. I will tell you this though, we became our own publicist in a way, because what I would do, this is a fun fact, I would go and I would look at horror movies I knew were worse than our movie, right? Like I could just say, that's a piece of shit. Who gave that a good review? Oh, they did. I'm gonna go approach that person and be like, hey, listen, I'm just doing some post-mortem on our movie and figure out like, did our
that's a good post-mortem
submit you the movie or not? And they're like, no, they didn't submit the movie to us. I'm like, let me submit the movie to you. I feel like, you know, I really would love for you to see it and give us your opinion. And they're a Rotten Tomatoes accredited person, right? And then they would like, I knew they're going to give us a good review because they gave that piece of shit a good review. So we would do that, right? This is something smart to do, by the way. So you do this, and then pretty soon you're Rotten Tomatoes accredited. I mean, sorry, you're certified fresh, right? And then you keep on having these little tidbits. These little tidbits drop out through these like credited sites that have the horror people's attention, right? Yeah. And finally, when you get to Netflix, and it's almost coming up, like end of August thing or whatever, the anniversary of it, that you debut in the top 5, which is insane. If you look at the films that are there, it's insane. And then it keeps on going, that every day, number 5, number 4, number 3, 2, 1. You get to number 1. You take out Jamie Foxx's Project Power. And like Forbes writes an article, because if Jamie Foxx's Project Power had been number 1 for just one more day, it it would have made the record for the year of the movie that had the most #1 days, and we fucking took him out. And you know,
Yes.
I'm not saying I run our social media. We have minions, but like it's funny because I did write him a tweet, and I was like, "Hey, listen, sorry to take you out, dog. Game recognizes game, though." And he was like, he didn't respond back.
Oh, you see,
just
to
polite
me,
shade.
But
Polite
I'm
shade.
gonna tell you. I cried that day. Like I cried because we got to #1 because I was like, listen, everything we did, festival run to make this movie, the festival run, everything, blah, 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 blah. It was literally like the Rocky story. Like you just like get to the top of those steps and you're like jumping up and down like fucking Rocky because like this little fucking SAG ultra low budget fucking movie got to fucking #1 on Netflix. Netflix has 73 million households.
Huge.
It helps
No,
that you
yeah.
have. It
That's
helps.
awesome.
It helps that you have a genuinely good movie that, rises above most horror movies. I actually,
Yes.
when it gets to the point where they're euthanizing the character and then it escalates, I just felt like, okay, I'm watching some next level shit.
Yeah, this is
it's-
definitely that was the feeling I got.
There was some really, I have to admit, there were some really cool aesthetic decisions made in that scene that I thought made it work both as both a cult thing and also as kind of a dark horror thing. And it's beautiful and it's terrible all at once. And that absolutely worked for me as a fan. I thought that worked out remarkably well.
I don't always want to be pandered to. Sometimes I want you to break my heart.
Ronan Landa did such an amazing job with the music that we, the only sort of Chotsky kind of thing that we did, I mean, you can buy the movie, whatever else, but we didn't want to do anything like, this is before NFTs and all this bullshit, but, and by the way, I would never
know what an NFT is.
I know, it's a non-fungible token or whatever. Anyway, long story short, the only kind of Chotsky thing we did with this movie for any kind of like thing you can buy, besides the film itself, is actually we have the soundtrack that they put out on vinyl.
Very cool.
It has like, what is it called? They put like what is the thing on the side that's makes it really cooler. I'm not a big record person, but
an MP.
You get a digital copy of it too, but there's like something on a piece of art on the side of it or something like that.
Yeah.
That makes it something.
It's some kind of insert, yeah.
And the artwork is
if you want to display it in a certain way, yeah.
And they only made 100 copies of them, and I think there's only like 25 or 23 left or whatever. So here's the thing: if you want to buy one of those and just don't open it up, by the time the second movie comes out, maybe it's something.
Here's an idea: autographed eye patches from Clayton.
Yeah.
We all know who the underdog hero for the fans is.
Yes.
Well, technically it's glasses, but
technically it's glasses.
Or an eye patch from here.
There we go.
This reminds me of it in some way, but Ronan Landa, to go back to him, he's amazing. Like I don't understand that guy's not working like crazy because he is just so good at what he does, and he did this he did this on such a small budget, and we went to the recording sessions for the stuff, and he brought in like all these real artists and this and that. Actually, funnily enough, you see this thing behind me right here, the Malevolent, our production company. If you listen to the music that's in that, that's Ronan Landa as well.
Oh, nice.
And he did that. He did that in less than half a day.
Clayton. So whether it was just upon your reading of the script, or if like you had to take it in chunks because it was such a fast process for you, either reading or filming it, was there a scene in there that was particularly satisfying to you, just like in any capacity, like as an actor or as an enjoyer of film? What do you say?
I mean, I really enjoyed doing the scene with Sarah in the bedroom there when we really got to connect with her, because I felt like that was really the crux of that character, and his world. You really get to see, for the first time, that Lester isn't, this bad guy, this creep that everybody perceives him to be. And upon reading the script, and like figuring him out. You know, David did such a great job in writing the crux of that character in one line. And it was in the scene with Nicole's character and Susan Davis's character, when she's helping Edie and she sees that Edie has the book, The Power of Community. And she's like, oh, did that creepy guy give this to you? And she's like, oh, Lester, he's not creepy. He's just sad. And I was just like, reading that in the script as an actor, you know, like to me, that was gold. Just that one line, you know, finding that description there, like it was gold.
Yeah.
Because to me, that scene really does define him as a character so well. There, all of a sudden, you get this warmth, and this sense of, I'm trying to think of the right term, and I apologize. There's a sense of
he's endearing at that moment.
He's endearing at that moment, and it's so hesitant, and so like, you're remarkably attractive, but you're not my wife. You know, it just hurts on so many levels when you watch that.
I don't know if this was covered when I was having my custody battle with the Line and Kugel Summer Shandy. That in my kidney, but you did screen at Fantasia, Mitch Davis's festival, and I was wondering how that audience reacted, because it seems to me they would be, you know, like over the moon for this kind of movie.
Well, to be frank, we did all the right things you're supposed to do. That is liquor them up. We had a party beforehand, the Canadians and a lot of the people are friends from. Look, I'll tell you this: if you have a
just
chance
to make sure all of the airs are properly dispelled, no one will be putting them on.
If you have a chance to premiere at Fantasia, Fantasia is the biggest and best film festival. There's only one that is like, if they're Harvard, if they're Stanford, Harvard might be Stitches. Right, like, and they go back and forth as to who's number one every year. You don't know which one, you know, whatever. But we got into Harvard. We were happy to get into Harvard, and you know, we did all the right things you're supposed to do, which is you go and you have a big party at beer markets. It's called. They have all the Belgian beers and poutine and all the things. And we were like, okay, we rented the entire upstairs. It's like $3,000 Canadian money. Thank God we're paying in American money. And like, we had a party, like, you know, like, whatever beers they want to drink, you fucking give it to them, you know. And for like, you know, an hour and a half or something leading up to our movie, right? And we'd already invited everyone we could and told and made friends. And they made a lot. Look, when you go to Fantasia, you make so many friends that are filmmakers, that are producers. There's like 10 people I want to work with from there that had films, you know, including like Johan and like all those fucking guys. And like, there's like 50 producers I want to work with that have cool shit coming out. And you cannot go wrong from world premiering at that festival, getting them drunk, and then everyone comes to the fucking movie. And then especially like, you know, the journalists had already had their press screening of it. A lot of them came back to see it again, weirdly. And we were like, okay, great.
I watched it twice. I watched it the next day.
Yeah,
I am now in the process. I literally watched it the second time today. There's a wonderful podcast called The Faculty of Horror, and one of them, the people who runs it,
isn't it?
Yeah. One of the, actually, no, it's one of the women who is on that is the editor of Rue Morgue, Andrea Subasati. Right. And they keep talking about Fantasia, and I'm like, God, I want to go there so bad.
It's like the fucking, like, this is your Sundance. Like, if you love horror, it's just 3 weeks. It's a lot for 3 weeks. I can't do 3 weeks. I did do a week though. I did do a week. I mean, I got a kid and shit. I got to get to that. But and I'm trying to shoot movies, so I'm gonna do that either. But if you could have a week to spend there, in the right week, like you'd see all this shit. I just saw this movie that was from there called the what is it called? It's on Hulu just now. Not the Sacrifice, not the Sacred, the Cursed.
Ooh,
have you seen it? Have you seen the Cursed yet?
I've started it.
So fucking good. No, look, it's like period piece, whatever. It's a little hard to get through, but holy shit, when it gets rolling, it's gonna be one of your favorite movies of the year. Like, it is like that good. Like, I mean, it delivers on all levels. It's not like a Nope, which does not, unfortunately.
Really, you didn't like
Sorry.
Nope? Okay.
Let's not get into that. Let's stick to the topic.
Okay.
I have a dissertation for you about Nope. Actually,
Okay, I look forward to seeing that on the Shudder Club page. John has this like new thing he thought of when he wants to do a game show. So let's.
This is the perfect time, actually, since we're talking about whether we like films or not. We are going to, thanks to Alok and Clayton for being here, going to start our new 30-second game show, and it's called Press Play or Press Eject, and where we are going to quick fire movies at the two of you, and you just say off the top of your head whether you press play or press eject, because that's our normal
or pause.
Yeah,
or it's basically the film equivalent to Marry, Fuck, Kill.
Hold on. Why is it pause? Because I mean, I'm trying to think of the logic of it. Is you play, you eject. If you pause, you're just like, is it just like the middle?
It's like I'm trying to make up my mind on this one. I still haven't come up with.
If you pause, you're kind of in the middle. You're like kind of want to finish it, but you're like,
but for whatever reason, you're not ready to reject it.
Mm-hmm. So can we just say play, pause, eject?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
That was the rules.
Okay. So each of us have prepared a list of movies we want to ask you if you play, pause, or eject. So if that's all right with you, we'll go ahead and start in a couple seconds here. All right.
And if you haven't seen one of them, that's totally okay. I've got some backups.
Are we answering at the same time, or like? I mean, are you going to one person first and then the other person?
Sure. Yeah. We'll say Clayton first and then Alok. And so just and have at it. You don't have to explain yourselves or anything. It's just a quick fire thing. All right. 30 Days of Night.
Play.
Well, I already know the answer, but nope.
Play.
Play. Still, both reservations.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Dave.
My.
It's your turn, Dave. Do something.
I'm a little high. Lost Boys.
Play.
Okay.
Cat.
Good answer.
Cat.
The Black Cat, 2007, Jeffrey Combs.
It's a Masters of Horror episode.
Play.
Have we seen it? If not, I've got backups.
I haven't seen it. So I'm gonna play it.
Okay.
I think you should get a play automatically if you have Jeffrey Combs in your movie.
That's a given.
Jeffrey Combs is an icon, but yeah.
That's why I got confused.
I think it's just interesting to talk about the films themselves. I mean, just to say something about the films, like yes or no and whatever.
Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, that's fine too. So
we're all about like, okay, here are the rules. It's okay.
Sorry.
Break the rules. It's cool. We're good.
So the first one was 30 Days of Night. Go ahead if you have something to say about the film too.
One of the best vampire movies ever made.
I agree.
I will say this. If people don't understand it, they've never seen it, they need to fucking watch it. It's so the atmosphere is a character in the movie. And I mean, I never read the comic book, which I read novel, whatever. I heard that's quite good too. But holy shit, if they didn't it was a perfect movie. And I'm sad that they couldn't follow up with sequels that could be equally interesting or whatever. They're all trying to straight to video kind of Sony bullshit, I want to say. But just Josh Hartnett's best movie, almost.
Yeah.
I would almost say that too.
I agree. Clayton?
Oh.
I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you. A lot of these I haven't seen them, so I was just hitting play because I need to watch it.
I love that attitude though. Like, look, I haven't seen it. Put it in front of me. I'll watch it. Whatever, man.
Dude, Clayton, you got to see that movie.
It's a really good
the acting is sort of a tour de force. Like, I think isn't Ben Foster like the crazy guy at the beginning? He's always the crazy guy in the movie, or whatever, right? Like, he's great. I mean, well, the guy that plays the main villain, right? What's his fucking name? The main vampire, who is just like, that particular role got him so much work down the line. It was insane. Like he did regular acting. He was like on a Star show about Miami gangsters and shit. And, like it got him it got him a lot of work. Let's say that. But I mean, I'm telling you this, a perfect film. Look, I'm going to say this to you. And as testing movies are concerned, right? It is very rare that you get a good movie, if not a great movie, for horror. It happens every couple of years. Sometimes it's a Ring. Sometimes it's like, this, that, the other. And when you get one, you gotta like treasure it. It's gotta be like, I mean, I wish they were doing more screenings of that, like summer screenings of that movie. They're not. I go to all these summer screenings outdoors in LA, and I just wish there'd be like some more horror involved. It's always like Raiders of the Lost Ark, which is, of course, I love it too. But 30th a Night would be a great like outdoor screening to like introduce a new
agreed
version of people to that, you know. Anyway, so that's my thoughts on that.
I always likened that film. I love the remake of Dawn of the Dead. So I always said it's the Dawn of the Dead of vampire films. It's just that kind of punch you in the face kind of thing. So
I remember testing Dawn of the Dead actually.
Oh yeah,
the Zach, you know, that movie for sure, 100%. There's a place we used to go called Winnetka, and the Pacific Winnetka Theater in particular was a theater that essentially if you wanted to make your bones in horror, you come to this theater, you test it there. It has the perfect demographic for horror actually, because they will tell you that Hispanic, African American, Asian has to be a certain level, and then less white people. And they're right, because every time they tested that theater, they would know whether the fucking movie had the goods or not.
Yeah.
So like Wes Craven, I remember helping him with that. I remember every single person you can think of horror, Eli Roth, Ty West, all of them have ever touched that theater. That theater, unfortunately, because of COVID, does not exist anymore because Pacific was bankrupt. I know.
Why do you gotta kill my dreams? Like, I don't go to LA that often.
The only thing we have close by, they were selling the seats out of that theater. And
they had like
a fire sale for that theater. And I was like, oh, that's so sad, you know. I don't know what they're turning that piece of land into. I think it's probably an apartment complex now. But they actually do have a theater. It's not too far from it called now it's an AMC instead of a Pacific Theater, AMC Northridge, which will hopefully take that horror audience and move it over there. So we'll see. They just opened it up like 2 weeks ago, so we don't know what's what yet.
If you ever come to, or if you ever want to look at the Midwest and you look at Milwaukee, look at the Oriental Theater.
Oh, that's such a great place to go see a movie.
Yeah,
I saw Lost Highway there, and the theater was packed, which I did not expect.
What are the biggest? I mean, look, I'm not doing that business anymore, but I always like to know what's the biggest theater they have there.
Yeah, it's a pretty big.
It looks like it's last time I was there. I remember the fire code.
Is it a oneplex or is it like a multiplex?
It's a oneplex.
Yeah.
Okay. So 500 seats is great. They love anything over like 250. Like, I mean, sorry, if you can get to at least 250, you're good. But anything larger, it gives you more information, and there where you can see more like patterns in the data and stuff like that.
Dan and I we were standing room only for Shadow of the Vampire there.
Yeah, 1,530 seats. So.
Oh wow, that's amazing. Well, that's also a bigger theater to fill, let's say. But
that's true. But,
and they do.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next movie was Nope, mentioned by Dan.
I was gonna say.
I think Alok wants to be a little.
Have you seen it? Have you seen it, Clayton?
I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it. Nope.
I haven't seen it either.
Clayton's willing to give it the benefit of the doubt.
Well, here's the problem with it. As a horror fan, I cannot comment on it if you have not seen it, because all I have is spoiler shit. And I'm telling you, there's just some gaps in logic to this movie, and there are certain things like, look, much like Us, you've all seen Us, right?
Yeah.
Yes. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit, but yeah.
All right, so Us is 2/3 a good movie. The problem with Us is that, one, you realize she's grunting the entire time. She's clearly one of them. She got switched already. You know that too, right? The movie falls apart when she goes downstairs into that world, right? Essentially, you're supposed to suppose that 300 million people, our doppelgangers, live underneath the fucking United States, who have never been discovered. And secondly, are rolling around as emulating us in some way, like on a roller coaster or some shit or whatever. What the fuck do these people eat?
I have to say that
they eat rabbit.
Okay, fair enough. They eat the rabbits.
I have to say that
bloody.
But the second point is, where do these people take a shit? I'm gonna tell you this, they don't. And this fucking movie is unbelievable because it's just
they find a way. They're
not figuring out a way to make a sewage system down there. They're not like geniuses. They're just like these fucking, and for them to exist for like, how old is that girl? Like fucking 30 years old, whatever. I mean, 30 years he's been down, like up top, and they've been down. It just falls the fuck apart. I'm sorry. And you can either, it's a metaphor for something, or it's this, or it's that, da, da, da. I'm sorry. There's a certain part of believability that goes out the fucking window, and you can't give it up. Now, here's the thing. Get Out is one of the best movies of the last 10 years. Like, it literally is one of the best horror movies of the last 10 years. Right? It is. It is. You can't
see. As far as Jordan Peele goes, like, Get Out currently is still my favorite. As far I have yet to see Nope, but I want to see it. But Get Out for me, just like
what about look, we're all in agreement here. What about Us? Tell me about that. What do you think about that?
So I've only seen Us once. I want to watch it again because, generally speaking, the first time that I watch a movie, I'm like, okay, no expectations. I don't want to see any trailers. I don't want to hear what everybody says about it. I just want to watch it and see what it gives me. I want to watch it again and really press into okay, what are you telling me about middle class socioeconomic angst? Because that's what I'm feeling here. And that's what I want to, I want to delve more deeply into that, and I want to give it a more critical eye. That's where I'm at with Us right now. I don't know about the rest of y'all.
I didn't like Nope. I've seen Nope 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
I saw it 3 times because I fucking wanted to study it, understand it, and make sure I really didn't like it. And not that I didn't really like it. Like, I mean, at first I was giving it a C+. Now I'm giving it a B-.
Oh,
okay.
And it depends. Like, so first time I saw it, I had tickets to see it IMAX on a Sunday. And like by the time it got to me on Friday, I was like, I can't wait. You know, so I went and saw it, right? And I didn't tell my friend I was seeing it IMAX that I saw it. And I was just like, you know, this is kind of Us. Sorry, this is Nope. I'm talking about Nope. And then I felt like an Us, where I was just like, this is like, you know, and there's like a couple of like really key things that you just get wrong that you can't get wrong. But the theater I was seeing it, like, you know, if you look at your theaters you go to, right? Talk to your theater managers. Make sure they have like replacing their fucking bulbs, right? The bulbs in their fucking projectors.
Yeah.
Because it makes a difference. It makes a fucking difference, especially
it does,
trust. It really does.
A very dark movie.
If you can talk to your projectionist at your local cinema, do it.
Well, the main thing is this: go see it IMAX, actually, because it was beautiful in IMAX, and the sound was better in that theater. And I was like, okay, I'd give it a kind of a better score. Then I thought I was going to like the movie so much, I really would want to study it quite a lot. So I'd already agreed to see it again with friends. And we were going to go to tacos afterwards, Taco Tuesday. So I was like, I still got to go with them to see this fucking movie. So I'm going to Taco Tuesday, which is amazing. So anyway, so I had to
small price to pay for Taco Tuesday.
Los Angeles, we have really good tacos. You don't understand. Tacos are really part of the thing. You do tacos once a week. Probably, you know, if you're a Los Angelino, you do tacos once a week. Long short is that I did it. I saw it again. I felt the same way about it. I saw it the second time. The sound design, if you have a good sound system, really actually is quite interesting. And I think when you watch it multiple times, you realize sort of there's an artistry to it, and they actually did some really interesting stuff towards the sound design upon repeat viewing. So in that way, interesting. But I'm going to tell you, I'm so sad to say that it's a bit of a flawed thing, and I think that if people don't know, and then I'm not going to spoil anything for you because he says this himself and it's in written articles and whatever. It definitely borrows very heavily from 3 films in particular, and they are Jaws, and it was Signs, and it was also what the fuck? Hold on.
I've seen Close Encounters brought up quite a bit.
Close Encounters, yeah, exactly that.
Yeah.
It borrows very heavily from those films, and I think the people who haven't seen those films and younger people are like, this is brilliant, and I'm like, fucking kid, go watch Close Encounters. You know, it's like that kind of thing. So that's my thought. That's my thoughts. I'm gonna end it with that.
Okay.
All right.
That's okay.
So
What's our next movie on the list?
Well, I was just gonna say, Clayton, since some of these movies you haven't seen, what besides One Bedroom or One BR is your favorite horror film?
Oh gosh. I'm gonna be honest with you. Horror films scare the shit out of me, and I haven't always been drawn to watching horror films. They're fun to act in. I would say one of the last horror films that I did watch though was Get Out, and I loved it. I loved Get Out. So I guess to go further in depth, I can't really speak much to that.
Okay, no worries.
Well, Get Out's a great film.
That's totally okay, Clayton. I have been very reluctant to like name myself as part of as a horror fan pretty much my entire life because I wasn't like the uber fanatic. I didn't have, you know, posters all over my bedroom with Udo Kier and Vincent Price and you know, every Italian director ever prior to 1986. I never felt like I was allowed to enjoy those things or like call myself a fan of those things, but it partially thanks to the Lost Blokes. Thanks, babes.
Our pleasure.
We'll convert it for you.
It's been very enjoyable and a true delight. For me to be able to watch horror movies again and approach it without judgment of myself. Yeah. And basically just like I don't know why horror in particular always seemed like kind of this out of reach genre for me, because most of the media that I enjoy I tend to enjoy it. I'm like, I don't necessarily like consider myself a fanatic. I don't consider myself like a passerby enjoyment-ist. That's definitely a word.
All right.
That's 1000% a word now. Yes. We're going to petitiondictionary.com about it. But it's been really good. Partially because of the Lost Blokes, partially because of some other friends that I have here in my hometown. But I don't know. It's good to be able to watch horror movies again and just experience them as whatever, rather than wondering, well, am I enjoying it enough? Is it okay that I don't so much enjoy this aspect or this subgenre of horror? Or is it okay that it's a little more dark fantasy than it is horror? Which, by the way, brings me back around to another movie that we had on our list. And by our list, I mean my list. The Green Knight was another one that I wanted to ask the two of you about. Did you guys see that? How did you feel about it? The Green Knight 2021.
Can I be totally honest?
Oh no, is he going to tear it apart?
I've yet to see it.
That's
and
okay.
the whole thing is, it's weird. Like, I've been trying to chase that movie in a weird way.
You've been chasing it, you said?
No. In so much as like where to watch it. Like,
okay.
I had, I think it was on like some subscription that I got rid of, and then I realized it was on that subscription, and I'm like, fuck, I'm not going back to that until there's some more shit for me to watch on that subscription. Like, it was like, it was like, I mean, epic. I don't know.
That seems reasonable, really.
No, but I mean, like, look, I have more subscriptions than I would like, and I just like want to make sure I'm using them. And you have a certain amount of time allotted. Like, I have a delightful almost 4-year-old right now, so you know, it's tough. So
finding time to watch all the shit in your queue, the struggle.
Well, the thing of it too is that I also get, like, because I used to test movies, right? I get past like emergency movies from like filmmakers I've made like friends with or whatever. I'm like, hey, look, can you watch our movie? Can you give us an opinion real quick and figure out how we should be testing this thing? And I'm like the rest of my afternoon is gone now, and I'm just fucking free. And they're gonna give me a thank you at the end of the fucking movie, and I'm like, all right, I guess it was worth it. Maybe not really. So I'm not getting paid for this. Like, I should be reading other scripts, you know?
I think you should at least charge them. Look, buy me lunch, and I'm all over this shit.
Oh, they buy me beer.
At the very least.
They'll buy me beers eventually.
Oh, okay.
But like, it's
beers.
like, you know, but like, and I gotta arrange that, like, amongst
track.
other real work I gotta do and stuff. So that's the tough part about life in Los Angeles, I suppose, in that regard. But look, I'm happy to do it for them, and I have not seen the movie, and it's been one of those things where I'm like, oh my god, this is gonna be like that really good piece of like chocolate cake that I can like just. By the way, here's a sad part
of it.
I'm diabetic, sadly. I mean, and I developed diabetes over COVID because I was eating so much sugary shit because I was so bored. And like now I have to take medication the rest of my life. Like, I mean, look, I already like sugar anyway, so I would sit in like the cereal aisle for like an hour, wondering how I could like mash up that cereal with that cereal, right? And now all I get nowadays is fucking dried Cheerios with no milk because there's just too much sugar in the milk. Okay, look,
no,
this sucks, right? But
no, it's cool because plant-based milks are a thing now.
Oh no, those are horrible too, by the way. They taste like such jackass almond milk.
Because you haven't had any homemade ones yet, my friend. They are delicious.
Well,
Listen to Clayton. He'll hook you up.
I love oat milk.
I'll make you some. I'll make you some.
1 to 2 grams of sugar. You do that?
I only put dates in it to sweeten it. Just some dates.
Okay, let's get back to it. I like to savor it. I like to like treasure things. I like to like get to the place where I'm like, all right, I'm ready to watch you tonight. You're gonna seduce me tonight. I've been holding back, and I'm gonna be so happy to watch you. If I have to pay for you, I'll pay for you. Like VOD or whatever else, I'll do it. I'll just do it tonight.
Such a story here.
Tonight.
Such an epic tale.
Tonight's a night for Green Night Love, and so I'm gonna see when that night is, and I'm gonna enjoy it because I've heard it's great.
It's gonna be so.
Is that what you crazy kids call it these days? Okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
You want to know? It's A24, right? That one, A24.
I think so. Yeah.
I want to say yes.
Well, speaking of A24, one of our executive producers, Peter Polk, who's done such movies as Ty West, the Devil.
That movie X, or
he did X as well.
Okay,
but he also has done like all of Ty West films.
House of the Devil. House of the Devil.
Yeah. And then the Jim Jones thing, the Sacraments and stuff like that. He actually, it's funny story about him. I met him in a bar. Another friend thought we should meet. We met him in a bar. And I was like, listen, we've been having trouble getting to festivals. Take a look at the movie. And if you liked it, I'd say like, we'd bring you on as executive producer or something. And he was like, all right, give me a week. We'll figure it out. And it's getting close to the deadline for Fantasia. I mean, they're going to make a decision. Fantasia's going to make a decision actually. And so we're like, I hit him up like on the Sunday before the Monday we didn't make decisions, and he comes back and I'm very nervous what he's gonna say. He's like, fucking love the movie. And I'm like, oh my god, the guy from like House of the Devil loves our fucking movie, and and he's like, I'm writing a letter to Mitch Davis right now, blah blah blah. And it turned out that Mitch Davis already had us on his radar and stuff like that. And so anyway, it's a nice sort of connection to the whole world as far as him and A24, who did X, which is a fun movie, disturbing as fuck. I mean, some people in the middle on it know, but it's fucking disturbing as fuck at the end. And I'm very curious to see what the Pearl movie does. The second, you didn't like the X movie?
No. I'm actually looking. I was just like, what else has A24 done? Google.
Oh, A24
and just looking at the whole list of things of the films produced by A24. I'm just like, Oh my god, I love A24.
I mean, fucking Witch. I mean, come on.
Hereditary.
That was on the list too. And I was actually going to specifically ask about the one, not just because I love the movie, but because
I've been raving
the way that the title is stylized, the Vitch, as some have called it. So just the way that you guys titled you guys one BR, one bedroom, I was like, how do you deal with that? With the visual titling versus the actual, like, what do you say when you were speaking the name of the film aloud?
What's funny, in Latin America, they're very confused by the title. They're like, is it one? That's what they say sometimes, whatever. Like, is this a Cardi B video? No, they actually say that. Like, I mean,
it's like, no, but that's kind of cool that you thought that. God.
Yeah. No, but I mean, look. I wanted to go back to the A24 thing. Like, the Witch movie, we saw it at Sundance, like the first day you could see it, right? And my producer partner and I were like, God, that was fucking amazing. I don't know how you market this film because it's the old English, or you got to do the bamboozle. You just get them in. Couldn't have good enough trailer, get them in, and then whatever they're going to think, they're going to think. And so if you look at the cinema score for that movie, right, it's very low to how good that movie is, because what they did is they did such a good job of marketing it. They got the kids in there and whatever else, and then the fucking kids are like, 17-year-old 18-year-old is going to be like, what is this fucking old English fucking movie, right?
just go with it, babe. Just go with it.
Roll with it. Roll with it as hard as you can.
Like 90% of them can't. And it's like a thing where that cinema score is like a C+ or a C-. I forget exactly what it was. But we were like, no, well, at least they got him in. They were able to do the bamboozle. They got him in, you know?
That was a fantastic.
I'm fine with that. I loved the Witch and The Green Knight have been two of my most favorite movies within like the last decade. I don't even know that I've watched both of them twice at this point, and they're still just they stick with me so hard.
We should review Green Knight next week, and y'all are invited back to join us.
That could be a thing.
Yeah,
we'd love to get some fresh eyes on this.
If you're bored on a Friday afternoon, contact us. We'll happily bring you in.
Well, if you can, you can just do it a little later in the day. I guess I can't get drunk at 12 every day. It just doesn't work out. Like it's like I got to pick up my daughter. The whole thing.
Shaun of the Dead.
Play 100 times.
Yeah, exactly.
I was going to say, but have you seen it? You have to say whether or not you've seen it.
I've seen it.
If you haven't,
Okay.
Multiple times.
Phantasm.
What Play?
I haven't seen it. So Play.
Oh.
Give it.
Okay, Halloween, the original, the John Carpenter.
Play. That's the only one.
Play. Definitely play that.
Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, play all day long.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
My next one is Blade Runner 2049.
I loved it.
Yeah.
Visually beautiful. I will say pause just because I just think that guy makes fucking movies that are so fucking long and Dune the same fucking way. Are we gonna end Dune with a dirt fight? Okay, sorry. I got. Just like I'm only saying pause because of that, like dirt fight.
You and I discuss that at the end because I think there's actually a very good character thing. But okay, continue. Next.
Basket Case. Sorry, John.
Play.
What was it?
Play.
Basket Case.
Very emphatic play.
I haven't seen it. I'm gonna play it.
Sound of Music.
That's a random throw in there.
Eject it.
I'm fine, but what, are you going to eject both VHS tapes? Because there's two of them.
Yeah.
Well, I've actually been to the place during the winter where it was shot, and it's very weirdly desolate and interesting looking. And I would say still play. And I have a daughter. And so she likes some of that shit.
I love that. I love that.
By the way, my kid is 4 years old and sees like not horror movies, but she sees like all the Marvel shit. She sees everything else, and she's like a very mature 4-year-old. I want to say, and so I can't wait to show her horror one day. Not gonna happen for a while, but look, she likes the sound of music.
Like build it up there.
I like the sound of music. I appreciate a musical here and again. So there you go.
Sure. And what did you think, Clayton?
Oh, I said I was going to eject it.
Okay, all right.
both VHS gone.
I'll give my next one right away. Fifth Element.
Play.
Of course.
Come.
My favorite sci-fi movie.
I saw that movie 3 days in a row, 3 times. Like I watch it every day. I was just like, this is a great movie.
Great one.
I was trying to study it. Is what it was. I was like, what is the music about? What is like the John Gaultier, whatever, like the fashion designer who did all the costumes for it was fucking nuts, and like just such a perfect movie in a lot of ways. And it's a very simple movie, frankly. You know, you wouldn't think it's complicated. And Gary Oldman, come on,
Gary Oldman,
come on though. The Void, 2016.
Play, great film.
Really good film.
I haven't seen it.
Underrated film. Underrated film. People should look that fucking movie up. I don't know where it's playing right now, but I swear, I felt like they could have done a sequel for that one easily. If they wanted to. They could have done something like that, but they sadly did not.
My next one, In the Mouth of Madness.
Ooh.
I'm on a John Carpenter kick, apparently.
I'm gonna say eject. I love the Carpenter, but I will say what's funny about that movie is that that song that we have for the torture song in our movie, the Happy Heart song, we almost had We've Only Just Begun before.
Oh no!
And we everyone had said yes to it except for Richard Carpenter?
Yeah.
Richard Carpenter, right? He ended up saying no because he was worried about the what's the word? The history where people the perception of the song will be in whatever years. And we were like, look, that song has been in 1408, room 1408, as the song that keeps on coming on when people get murdered. And then it's in the Mouth of Madness at the very beginning of the fucking movie where they fucking like have him, Sam Neill, come into the room. And he even says, oh no, not the Carpenters. And then they play the fucking song, right?
Look, I'm super sorry that the Carpenters is just
Richard
really
Carpenter.
good music for juxtaposition moments like that when everything is really horrible.
But hold on, can you imagine that song in a movie? Have we got the rights to it? Because it's like we've only just begun, and she's like on the wall and that. How perfect would have been? And so sorry, fuck Richard Carpenter. I'm sure he's dying right now. Whatever. I'm not worried about his like fallout.
I'm so sad.
But like, it would have been so great for that song, right?
Thinking about it, one of the things I've always wanted to do was have the Sonic Youth version of Superstar being run in a torture scene. Sorry, I had to say that. Go ahead.
All right, that's an interesting idea, but
I'm going to throw in on Dave's behalf because I have to. Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Wow, great choice. You know what? That's such a feel piece movie. I'm still going to say play because I want people to see it. I think that it's a tough person to get through that, but I fucking love Mandy. I have a fucking Mandy I have a fucking Tiger t-shirt like from that fucking like thing. And I actually went up to the people at whatever Legion 1 or where the fuck they are. Yeah. And I was like, look at this shirt. I got this on Etsy. Where the fuck is your shirt? Why didn't you guys make a shirt for this? And they're like, we did.
Dave and I both have the albums.
No, they're like, we did. It's coming on 6 months. The eyes are gonna glow in the dark. And I'm like, I was like, I already got this one now. And we're at Sundance. And I'm talking to the president of fucking Legion M or whatever they are. And I'm like, you should have gotten the ball more for this.
Right.
Like, you know,
news.
They sell axes and stuff from Mandy, which I love. Look, I can't wait to see what that cat does next. I think they announced something just recently.
He signed a deal with A24, so now I'm really psyched.
7.
And the last one?
7?
Wait, which one though?
7. The only movie
which
called
one?
7. The only one that matters. The one with the number 7 where the V.
What's in the box?
Is it the number? Is it the one where it's spelled with the number and the rest of the word?
It's
is it the number
7EN?
Wow, you're
that's how you spell 7 now because of the movie.
Clayton, what do you think? What do you think?
For what?
7.
Think about
7.
The movie
Which
7.
Movie are we talking about?
Play. That's a play for sure.
That's a double play.
Yeah, I've watched that movie many times.
I love it.
Very cool.
And Tombstone as well, which is a play. I know that wasn't asked earlier. You brought up Tombstone. I'm like, definitely, I'm stopping what I'm doing. I'm playing that movie.
Oh yeah, I'm immediately all over that movie. Yeah.
I've got one for the each.
Well, Sean, there's somebody
great
over your grave.
I mean, it brought Val Kilmer back in a certain sense, right? Like when his career was on that weird part, and he was like, Val Kilmer, I love fucking Val Kilmer and stuff, you know.
Yep.
So look, these are some great films you've mentioned here, and I hope that the people, especially 30 Days of Night, so people haven't seen that fucking movie.
Yeah,
you need to fucking
that
see
is such
that
a
movie,
great
son.
primal
I've been
vampire
saying that
film
for years.
Oh, and it scares the shit out of you, and just the weather, and you feel the cold, you feel the weather, and like, you know, people hiding underneath the houses. It's just very troubling, and it's so amazing compared to how shitty the sequels were.
and the score keeps you on edge the entire time.
We love a good score.
But
all right, we've got 40 seconds.
All right, so now comes the moment of triumph, the moment of truth. We are going to give our press pause or play on 1BR. I'll start. This is absolutely a press play. I've done it 5 times now, and
5 times? You saw it 5 times already?
5 times now.
Oh. I say that's a good review.
If you're gonna be all overachiever about it.
Yeah. You know, I've only seen it twice.
You know me. If I watch a movie 4 or 5 times, it's All right, Dan.
Wow. Press play. I was very pleasantly surprised at all the twists the way it escalated and became so. It was emotional resonance and really scary and unnerving. I can't believe you nailed a woman's hands to the wall in a movie, and I think that's brave of you. And John was going to start the video with him holding his hands against the wall right there, but
that's funny. How are you doing that?
Very, very carefully.
Definitely
with a first aid kit nearby. That's
definitely something to check out. If you don't have Shudder, it's also on Prime and Netflix. Everyone needs
to be honest, we get paid a little bit more if you go watch it on Prime.
Really?
I was just going to say, please tell us the way that is most directly supportive of the film.
Prime right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
In the fall, maybe something. I'm sorry, in January 1, maybe something different. But anyway,
So watch. We're not employed by Shudder, so I can say this. Go watch 1BR on Prime.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because
do it.
I'll throw my vote in.
Blu-ray.
I literally just did.
Buy the Italian Blu-ray.
Yeah. For me,
I want to see all those extras.
For me, it's definitely a press play. The film is remarkably well thought out, has some great twists and turns to it. And to be perfectly honest, it is a film that rewards repeated viewing because I've watched it twice so far. And now I'm going to go to Amazon and I'm going to watch it again. So I recommend that everybody else do this too. So pimp early and often for good independent cinema. This is a really well done film.
Look, we get all these movies that we were like, all right, these guys want a deal to test a movie. And I was like the executive vice president of the company at the time. I'm like, all right, I was a horror guy too. So I was like, all right, let me see the movie and I'll kind of decide whether we'll give them a discount or not. So I would sometimes this is before streaming or whatever. So I'd take like a DVD home or whatever. And 2 movies in particular that I was like, all right, let's do these guys a deal. This is the real shit. We got to do this, whatever. Was The Devil Inside. The Devil Inside.
Good choice.
See, I helped.
Whatever. So I gave them a deal on that one. What's the one where the girl? It's Ty West is in it, and I think Adam Wingard directed it. I want to say, and it's like it's Barbara Crampton's in it too, and it's a family that comes to this, like a rich family comes to his house, and they start getting honey. It's not left to right one, and it's like
Is that a Blumhouse one?
Yeah. It's Your Next.
Yes, that was really good.
Yeah, so Your Next came to us and like, we got no money, and and I was like, let me watch it. So I'm watching that movie like on like, I don't know, Friday night, like, I take my work home with me kind of shit. And I'm playing on my PlayStation 2 or something, which dies later that week. I remember like visually. I was like, I'm so glad I got the movie out before the fucking thing died. I'm gonna have to fucking explain how I can't get someone's fucking their intellectual property out of the fucking machine. I'm gonna just break the thing open to get it out. So I watched the Year Next, whatever it's called. And I'm like, holy shit, this is fucking fantastic. And we got to give them a deal. And we did. And then from shooting it, from understanding what they had and marketing it right, like Lionsgate picks them up, and then they're gonna premiere them at the end of the summer. They give them a huge campaign, and they come out in August, and it just doesn't do any business, sadly. And I felt like that was a movie that could have done so well, and they did a great marketing campaign. I just felt like sometimes you bring shit out in August, it's a shitty time to bring it out, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah.
Listen, I'll tell you guys this too. If you guys ever make a movie and you want to bring it out in October, don't fucking do it. There's too much fucking noise going on. There's all people discovering old movies, whatever else. Bring it out in fucking January.
Okay.
January, perfect.
Duly noted.
All right.
All right, guys. Listen. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Both of you.
Great. Thank you, Clayton and Alok both.
This was a lot of fun. It was great talking to you guys. We love this movie and we're happy to highlight it. And I hope it does even bigger than everybody who's seen it seems to love it. So it's just, I hope it has legs, and I'd love to see the sequel.
Clayton, Alok, if you ever get bored, we are here for you. We would love to hear your opinions on various things.
All right.
Listen. Go ahead. Sorry, go.
Oh, I was going to say one last question for both of you. Play, pause, or eject on The Lost Blokes.
I see what he did there.
Oh, he's
all day.
That's
us. All day long play. All day long.
All right.
Thank you.
Oh Lord.
I did a film that premiered at South by Southwest this last year called To Leslie. I don't think they have any distribution yet for it. but it had a great cast. Andrea Riseboro's in it. Mark Maron, Stephen Root, one of the greatest character actors.
Oh yeah, he's awesome. I love him.
Keep an eye out for that. It should be fingers crossed they get a good release with it. So,
what kind of film is it?
What was the title of it again?
It's called To Leslie. It's a feel-good kind of like a redemption story about a West Texas mom who wins the lottery and blows all of her money, blows it all within a matter of like 2 years, and now is living destitute and trying to gain the love of her son.
Oh, okay.
Feel good.
Be on the lookout for that one.
I didn't know you did that. I'm excited that you told us that. Actually, I'm gonna have to look out for that. So, I don't know. We're working on a lot of stuff. I'll be honest. It's too much to go in towards the end of the podcast. But I'll say this: like we try to do some J.J. Abrams shit, like where we don't tell people what we're doing.
Gotcha.
And all of a sudden, it's just there. Right after the Super Bowl, you'll be like, you can watch it after the Super Bowl. And people want to watch it, maybe they don't, and maybe it's better than Cloverfield, whatever the fuck that was, you know.
It has to be.
But, anything has to be, right? Like, so, but no, we're doing some stuff with a bunch of different people, and we're also working with David Marmer, not just on the sequel to this film, but also other stuff. And we have a lot of interesting filmmakers, so we're trying to we don't have to. I mean, I did mention Eduardo Sanchez, maybe I shouldn't, but we have like a film and a TV show with him, and actually Peter Polk as well. We're working on that thing, and we're just looking for trying to figure out the right showrunner for it right now, and we're going to pitch it in September. Hopefully, we have a couple different showrunners we're choosing between right now, so a lot of interesting choices there. And I've never done TV before, so that could be cool.
I'm writing down all of these names so that I can research
what's
everyone.
The director's name of this movie again? Because I really want to watch for
David Marmer. This is his first movie. His first movie. He's done some shorts, but like this guy, one of the nicest guys you ever meet. 2, one of the smartest guys you ever meet. He'd never tell you, but he went to Harvard and stuff, and got into USC film school, and decided he really wanted to go to NYU, I think, but he had to settle with USC, and so I went to USC for undergrad, and so he's always like USC. He's like, I didn't go to Harvard undergrad. No, he never says this, but he's great. It's funny. We traveled all over the world together, and when you spend a lot of time together, in rooms together and stuff, you get to know each other.
Well, that's great. Anyway, he's a talent to watch for sure. And,
oh my God, completely.
Yeah. Well, we look forward to everything you're doing, because you were amazing in the movie, and you're.
Thank you.
So, Alok and Clayton, thank you so much for being here today. You're welcome anytime. We'd love to have you back again sometime, and we are absolutely positively looking forward to the sequel to 1BR. I mean, I'm on the edge of my seat for it. So thanks again.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for joining us.
It was awesome drinking beers with you.
We appreciate your time.
My afternoon feels a bit more light and breezy right now. I don't know why.
Right? Hey, we're here to make your day better. That's all.